can't believe I believed everything we had was last. So young and naive of me to think she was from your past. Silly of me to dream of one day having your kiss. Love is so blind, it feels right when it's wrong. I can't believe I fell for your schemes. I'm smarter than that. Young and naive to believe that with me you're a changed man. Foolish of me to compete when you cheat, well, who's winning? It took me some time, but now I'm moved on. Because I realize I got myself, that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on, I'm gonna be my own best friend. Be myself, that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on, I'm gonna be my own best friend. Controlling, you say that you love me, but you don't. Your family told me one day I would see it on my own. Next thing I know, I'm dealing with your 3 kids in my own. Love is so blind, it feels right when it's wrong. Now that it's over, stop calling me, come pick up your clothes. Ain't no need to front like you're still with me. All your homies know, even your very best friend tried to warn me on the low. Took me some time, but now I am strong. Because I realize I got myself and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on, I'm gonna be my own best friend. Be myself and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on, I'm gonna be my own best friend. Got me, myself, I know that I will never disappoint myself. All the ladies, if you feel me, help me sing it out. I'm sitting with you. Yeah, you hurt me, but I learned a lot along the way. After all the rain, you'll see the sun come out again. Hey, I know that I will never disappoint myself. I'm crying. All the ladies, if you feel me, help me sing it out. Hey, you hurt me, but I learned a lot along the way. After all the rain, you'll see the sun come out again. Myself, that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on, I'm gonna be my own best friend. Be myself, and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on, I'm gonna be my own best friend.
Tell me, girl, have you seen her? It was about 5 minutes ago when I seen her hottest chick that a youngin' never seen before. I say, yo, tell the girls I wanna meet her. On second thought, that ain't the way to go. I gotta give her game proper, spit it so she get it. There she is, I gotta stop her. Or should I talk about her smile? Or what about her style? I'm out of time, she's out the door, I gotta go for mine. Or should I talk about a smile? Or what about a style? I'm out of time, she's out the door, I gotta go for mine. Let the girl say, excuse me, oh yeah. And I gotta admit that you got my attention, you're making me want to say, oh. Are you tryna leave this? I saw you dance with you. How I love to keep you here with me, yo baby. Now so they grab hold of my hand and let's pretend the flow was ours. You say you don't really dance. Just one, two, step. Now with the music is moving too fast. Grab my hand a little tighter. Don't be afraid to move a little closer. Girl, there's something about you that makes me wanna say yeah. And I gotta admit that you got my attention. You're making me want to say yeah. Are you tryna leave?
grown and sexy, but clean sometimes. That's what's up. We didn't say it was a family show, so there's that.
Young
Wait,
people
are
born.
we with that? With that?
Well-
This or that? Are we?
I don't know. We all over the place.
Had to come out of retirement. These knees don't. They was snap, cracking, and popping. You know, like a Rice Krispie. But we made it do what it do. But I did take a couple ibuprofens afterwards, though. All right.
Mud Talk with Big T, Shay, and Miss Amy.
Can you count, suckers? Get busy, y'all. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Mud Talk.
I got you. Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your homie Big T.
And I'm Shay Renee.
I'm Miss Amy.
And you are officially tuned in and tapped in with the hottest podcast that brings you the latest in music, news, and fashion, and the only show that keeps your ears to the streets.
While you grind and shine.
Yes, we are back for a brand spanking new episode. We took a little break for the holidays, but we are back. And you know, it was great. It was nice to have a little break and kind of reset and rejuvenate and relax and come back, take care of our mental health, because you know that's what we talk about here
Always.
all the time. But I'm back and I love y'all. And I'm so glad to be back in the studio. How y'all
Yeah.
feeling?
Same. Good.
I'm feeling good too. Yes.
It was a nice little break to just.
It was.
It was.
I had a lot of time off in between. Like I was
Nice.
off the last 2 days. Like
Good for you.
5-day weekend.
And I wish. I'm jealous. I wish I had a 5-day weekend.
Yeah.
But I've been getting things done. So
Good.
That's good. That's good. So we have a big show here today, and we had to come back in the hottest way. And so this episode is all about hot topics, man. Because there's always a lot to talk about out there in the
Always.
streets, and you know, we thought it would be pretty cool to come on the show and see what everybody's perspective is. We do have a special guest that's going to be joining us in the second half of the show. I told him earlier today, I was like, you want to be the Angela Yee of our show so bad. And so Craig Burney is going to be back on the show today in the second half of the show. He's going to be sitting with us for some hot topics.
Nice.
But before we get into anything, I have to give y'all what's called Big T with the T. And, this is where I give y'all all of the juicy news that's going on. And this is how, I keep job security thanks to these celebrities. So first things first, let's get into some Nick Cannon news because it's been a while since we
Oh,
had some Nick
man.
Cannon news. But this
our
is not.
favorite baby daddy.
No babies.
Yes.
He is one of our favorite baby daddies.
He is, but this one is not about babies, actually. So Nick Cannon and the Zeus Network are getting put on blast for a competition that pitted dark-skinned and light-skinned women against each other. Yeah, so all of our news today comes from TMZ. So here's the deal. So Zeus and Nick collaborated on a live show Thursday night called Bad vs. Wild Las Vegas, putting Wild 'N Out stars from Nick's side against baddies from Zeus's side. The promotional post online said it would feature several competition with different themes, one being a separation by skin tone. The post was met with a lot of hate because of its colorist implications, and Zeus took it down and uploaded an edited version, which read chocolate goddesses versus caramel goddesses. That didn't sit well with folks either, with many pointing out the name change doesn't alter the intent of the competition. Zeus News, the new post also added, remember, we're here to break down stereotypes, not to uphold them. Zeus and Nick also had a BBW, Big Beautiful Women versus Slim Girls competition go down on the same exact night, which was met with the same reaction from fans. It would be interesting to see if Zeus airs the controversial competition at some point.
He 100% was trying to go at every single stereotype, wasn't he?
He absolutely was.
He was like, let's just do it all. Let's go hard.
Yes. I mean, to do dark skin versus light skin, skinny versus BBW, like what I don't know what they were thinking.
Nick.
I personally feel like I'm not about to, promote that crap or even partake in it. I don't subscribe to the Zeus Network. No, I don't want to watch baddies or none of that. I do not like the way they depict Black women. At
Absolutely.
all.
Yeah.
It's degrading to our characters.
Absolutely. And and not even just Black women, Black people in general. I mean, you got the Blueface and Krishan thing going on. You got the Bad Boys Club, Bad Girls Club. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Zeus Network.
I'm so over them.
I don't even know what it is.
So Zeus Network is a subscription network that you can subscribe to. So it's like a streaming service, and it's basically where you get all your Ratchet TV. So that's where like the Blueface and Krishan, like that's where they have their reality
the whole
show.
drama's just going
Yes,
on. Okay.
yes. You have Bad Girls and Bad Boys Club on there, and I think at one point Black China had a show on there as well too. So that was kind of on there. So it's basically where you just get your Ratchet TV from. But it's like it's very ratchet. Like
Nick, that's beyond ratchet.
Yeah,
there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, that
if
wasn't
you're doing
cool.
That. You got daughters?
Yes.
Like, come on.
Yeah, you got a lot of daughters, actually.
Like a lot. Like, I don't know how many we're up to, but you got daughters. Like, come think about that stuff.
Yeah, we need you to do better, Nick. So hopefully they get that figured out. All right. And in other news, of course, we got Taylor Swift coming up. So there's a good reason Taylor Swift, she called out Kim Kardashian in her new interview. So she called out Kim Kardashian in Time magazine over a 7-year-old phone call with Kanye West. It's an incident for which Kim still has not apologized for. TMZ and sources with direct knowledge told them that Kim has never said sorry to Taylor over the notorious famous phone call between Taylor and Kanye West back in 2016. The one that Kim and Ye released attempting to show Taylor was cool with the song's racy line about her. Now, if you don't remember the track release, the lyrics that Ye rap said, "I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex. Why? Because I made that bitch famous." And that was in response to Taylor's anger. Kim posted her version of the recorded phone call in an effort to prove that Taylor, she agreed with the line. However, the full unedited version was eventually, it came out and it became clear that Kanye never even told Taylor that he referred to her as a bitch in the song. So sources say that Kim's never apologized for the phone call, and Taylor said that she would actually accept an apology for Kim on the issue even after all these years later. Only one specific condition must happen, and that means the condition is that the apology must be done publicly. One source said that Taylor said a public shaming calls for a public apology.
I know that's right. I want that apology just as loud as that disrespect.
Was this as a result of like the award show? Was this before or after the award show?
This was after the award show.
So this was kind of where that all started.
Yeah. So that they had the interaction at the MTV Awards, and then in 2016 he wrote a song. He wrote a lyric and referenced Taylor Swift in the song, and then apparently he asked her, was it okay to mention her in the song, but he never told her that he was calling her a bitch in the song.
Yeah.
So Kim released the edited version of the phone call, but eventually the full version got released. And in the phone call, Kanye West never told Taylor Swift that he called her a bitch in the song.
I feel like I saw something earlier, actually, before I came here, where Taylor was saying in the article that she was so upset about it. Was that she had to go and kind of was out of the public eye for a while?
Yeah, she said she actually moved to another country for a long time.
Yeah.
Like she moved out of the United States because of the backlash that was just given to her was just so harsh. So she actually moved out. She moved out the country, moved away.
Now, do we think that Taylor Swift was like, all right, I'm kind of on top of the world right now. I'm about to just come out and get some confidence, because she's got a lot of positive news out there right now.
She has a lot of positive news, and I think she's grown. And I love the way that she clapped back. She said, look, I'll take your apology, but we're not going to do it in private, boo.
Right.
We gonna do this in public.
As public as you made that, like Shay said.
Yes. So, and then, at the same time too, she also before that had just won that lawsuit against her record label that she was with before, because they were trying to hold her in contract. They didn't let her release any new music and all this stuff. And so she actually went back and recorded the old music and put it back out again. And now she's a free agent out here. So
Taylor's on a roll. She's like, I'm done.
Yeah, Taylor ain't playing. So Lexi said, why wouldn't Taylor just listen to the song, bitch?
No.
I don't know. So, all right. And in our last news, let's talk about the new couple that's out here. Well, they're kind of not new. They've been kind of together for a while, but let's talk about Jennifer Hudson and Common. So,
oh man, I was hoping you were saying Nelly and Ashanti.
I know, I was hoping that.
Well, that's not a new couple, but we can talk about that too.
They are recently rekindled couple.
Yeah.
Yes, and a little birdie told me that from what I saw in the shade room is that Shanti's pregnant.
Yeah, she's pregnant.
She's having a baby, y'all.
Her first.
Her first, yes. Shout out to her.
Yeah.
Nelly's third, I think. This will be his third.
Yes.
And by the way, he's almost 50, right?
He's still fine.
Yeah, I thought I was about to say he looks so good for almost 50.
No, he's fine.
I think they're both almost 50.
Man, they're gonna have he's like almost 50. I think she might be a little younger, but they're gonna have a beautiful baby.
Yeah. So Common and Jennifer Hudson may be putting an album out together. So Common and Jennifer Hudson are talking about a powerful, romantic, soulful collab, and it's not a wedding, but they're talking about making music together. The topic came up last night as Common pulled up at the Los Angeles airport, where a photographer asked him about the odds of his girlfriend and him hitting the studio anytime soon. Common said the chances are high, but he's not willing to say exactly when. He says he approaches his music like his relationships. The records have to happen organically. The Chicago natives have been going strong for well over a year, and Common had no problem hyping up his partner, saying she is one of the greatest voices of this generation, and that should score him some points this holiday season. And let J Hud let that coochie breathe.
Oh my goodness.
On him.
I can't with you.
I know.
I love this couple together.
Yes.
I love them together.
I never knew they were a couple. I don't know where I've been. but-
Yes, they've been together for almost like over a year now.
Now they're like significantly different in age too, right? Like
Yes.
he's way older than she is, but
Yes.
I love them together. Musical geniuses.
Yeah.
I will listen to that whole album.
I also heard that Common is a serial dater. Like he dates women for like a little while.
Well, he better not break her heart.
And then once he gets bored, he kind of just like moves on to the next.
Mm-mm.
So I
Don't
hope you
come
don't.
at her like
I hope
that.
you don't approach your music like your
You
relationship.
better ask Santa for some new tricks.
Yeah, Common was with Erykah Badu like back in the 90s, and then he dated Serena Williams for a while, and then he dated some.
Taraji P. Henson, I think.
Yes,
at one point
he
as well,
dated
yeah.
Taraji P. Henson. Then he dated some white woman, and now he's with Jennifer Hudson.
Wow, he is a serial dater.
He is. So,
I mean, he's lived a long life, so he's had a lot of time, more time than Jennifer to do that.
he has.
Don't hurt her.
Yes. So.
Mm-mm.
All right, well, that was Big T with the tea. And if you know I got some tea, I'm gonna spill it here first on Mud Talk. So, all right, well, Thanksgiving just wrapped up. And how was you guys' Thanksgiving? How did you guys, what did you cook? Did you hang out with family? What did you guys do?
Both. I cooked and hung out with family. It was really actually nice.
That's good. That's good. What did you cook?
I made turkey, greens, dressing, macaroni and cheese, yams, and rolls, the dinner rolls.
Oh, that's
and
good.
deviled eggs, of course. The deviled
Oh, I love me some good deviled eggs. Did you put paprika on the top?
eggs. You gotta have to, and in it, you gotta have a little flavor in it.
Absolutely. Miss Amy?
Well, I also cooked turkey. I cooked some, I cooked dressing because I
Yes.
didn't stuff it in anything. We talked about that last time.
Thank you.
Mashed potatoes and gravy. I make homemade gravy. I made macaroni and cheese, deviled eggs with paprika on top.
Mhm.
I made some green bean casserole for my dad. I think he's the one that likes it. Candied yams and and I also got with my friend Miss Rita Armour, the real estate agent, and she is helping me and helped us record our next segment, which is White Girl Visits, and she taught me how to make greens.
Oh,
So our next episode, we're gonna watch me go shopping all by myself for ingredients I've never shopped for.
wow.
For the greens, and then I learned how to make them, and then I actually I got some and served them with my family.
Where
So
did you go shopping at?
you're gonna you have to wait. You got to watch the
Yes,
show.
I'm only laughing because her and I talked about this on FaceTime last night, and yeah, we'll just wait. It was
Yeah.
hilarious. So
I forgot the name, but I took a picture of the sign, and it's all in the video. So
Yes.
you'll get to witness my firsthand shopping experience. So
Oh, that's what's up.
curious.
it was good. It was. I had a lot of good time with family too, and it was just nice. And I got to do my tradition, which was to take food to people that were working and some
Mhm.
friends of mine that didn't have dinner or anybody to eat with. So
Yeah.
that's my favorite part.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I was excited to take my dad to play who just
Mhm.
recently had kidney surgery.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
That's dope. Yeah. So my mom and I, we actually combined Thanksgivings with one of her coworkers who she's really good friends with. And so our family and their family, like we came together and we cooked. They all came over to the house and we just kind of chilled and listened to music. We ate. There was so much food: chicken, roast, ham, turkey, macaroni, cheese, dressing, no stuffing. Just all type of good stuff. So it was really nice. That was like the first time that we've ever done that.
Yeah.
But it was so dope to see like our families kind of like mesh together and kind of hang out and vibe with each other. So
I love that.
yeah, that was really dope.
Somebody else had a birthday.
I did. Yes. We won't talk about that. Oh, Janelle said that he also dated Tiffany Haddish too. Kinda.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's quite the list.
Yes.
Just a list.
Yes, it was my birthday.
Uh-huh.
I turned 35. So shout out to everybody who came through. Shout out to the Mud Talk team that came through. It was so dope y'all to come through. I got a little emotional because I got a huge surprise that I did not expect. My dad came to the birthday celebration. My dad and I haven't talked in like 3 years. So that was the first time that we really like hung out and like saw each other and spoke. And so he called and asked me where I was at. And I told him where I was at, and I didn't think he was coming. Shout out to that childhood trauma.
I don't think we're like shouting out trauma, but just acknowledging it.
I love your coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
But yeah, he came through, and not only did he come through, but he came through with my brothers and all that, and that was just really dope. And I got emotional. I thug cried and all that good stuff. So
that was honestly absolutely one of my favorite moments of the break was being there and watching it, because just you were genuinely surprised.
Yes.
And when he came in and just the emotion that you saw, and I didn't video your thug cry, but I got a picture of it.
Oh, I posted it on Facebook.
And then I got to sit and chat up your dad a little bit and learn all about things.
Oh,
and
Lord Jesus.
talk to your brothers that were there.
Did he talk too much?
No, I mean,
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's fine. I love it. I love listening. I love talking to parents, and
Yeah.
it was just a overall great moment for you. And I know the big three. Am I allowed to say how old you are? Big 3-5.
Yes, I am.
It's a milestone.
It is a
birthday,
milestone.
35. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it was really dope. And just to see everybody just show love and come out and celebrate, it was big. And for me, it was like the perfect gift to be 35, because it just healed a lot of just anger and resentment and all of that good stuff. And so I'm really hoping that him and I can continue to grow our relationship and move forward. So
Maybe we should shout out the healing, not the trauma.
yes, shout out to healing, man. Shout out to healing, and shout out to Black Boy Joy. For me, that really touched my inner child, and so that was really dope. So,
and that story of you telling that inner child story to me, and it was like one of the really special moments of you just kind of being able to come full circle.
Yes, and so that was, and then after that, I don't remember anything else that happened. So
I can't say
a lot of dancing.
I can't say he's a proud father, because every time I've seen him over the last year, like I ran into him at a couple dodgeball games, at a parade I did with my girls, and he goes, "Oh, I'm Ty's dad. Ty's dad." I said, "I know you are," but it was always that big, proud, chest out smile on his face. "Oh, I'm Ty's dad."
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah. And so, and then like I said, my brothers were there. So my brother Deontay, growing up, we got called twins because him and I are the same age. And so we are exactly 7 months apart. My birthday is November 28th and his is June 28th.
Yes.
So that's how we remember each other's birthday. So growing up, we were just like, we just need to accept the fact that we're ghetto twins at this point. So that's what it is.
Like,
well, we call them project twins, but
ghetto twins, project twins,
same
I learned something I didn't know, but now I do.
So, but shout out to healing and all that good stuff. And speaking of healing, that transitions into our mental health moment, right?
Yeah. So let me go ahead and pull up. So today, I wanted to talk about, and this is for everybody, not just people struggling with mental health, but the holiday season is here. It is December 8th?
It is.
So it is, I believe, the second day of Hanukkah. Today's I think yesterday was the first day of Hanukkah. So
shout out
happy
to the
Hanukkah
celebrating Hanukkah.
For those of you that are celebrating. We have some time where Christmas is coming, Kwanzaa's coming. Big T had to school me a little bit. I thought Kwanzaa was the day after Christmas, and he said it's actually on
the
Christmas.
25th.
Yep. So there's a lot of holidays. We have New Year's Eve, New Year's Day coming up. So I wanted to talk about surviving the top 3 holiday mental health killers that a lot of us tend to experience over the holiday season. And these are all pressures that we maybe are feeling. So number 1, the first one is the pressure to overschedule yourself. And this comes from the fact that we have things like holiday events, parties at work, parties at school for kids. If you have kids in their classroom. I know my daughter's got a choir concert coming up, and there's those types of things. And then we have the traditional, just traditions that we tend to do. So, the expectations around the holidays to be visiting various family members and bouncing from house to house to house, or just like, decorating your Christmas tree, if that's what you celebrate, or Christmas lights, or God forbid, the elf on the shelf. Which is not my favorite. Like
I've been
literally
seeing some cute ones this year. Like
there are so many cute ones, and I'm actually going to go back to the elf on the shelf with one of the other pressures. But and then also just a lot of us have some time off. Like you said, you had 5 days off, so just like the pressure to get things done when you're off work can be there. Cooking, shopping, wrapping, visiting, cleaning. I'm stressing myself right now thinking about it. So if this is you, the way that we can combat this, I guess the way we can survive the pressure to overschedule is, number 1, accept your own personal limitations around the holiday season. Like, make a commitment to, first and foremost, not allow others to dictate your schedule. And it tends to happen that way because family comes in from out of town, and they're like, well, we need to see you, or I need you to be at this house or this house. And there's just a lot of pressure for other people to try to dictate that schedule.
Right.
My suggestion would be, it's December 8th. And if you're celebrating Christmas or even Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, sit down this weekend. It's perfect time. and start thinking about what are the priorities, what are the actual main things you want to do, and then actually put it in a schedule. Like actually schedule the time and say, these are the things I want to get done. Put it in your schedule, put them on the calendar, and then don't forget to schedule in downtime and self-care time. Like
Absolutely.
actually put it on your schedule. And it's okay to actually not do something that you've traditionally done in the past. If you're feeling overwhelmed, like the elf on the shelf, I was kind of like, because there are adorable things and there's just a ton of pressure out there to do these. And I have there's somehow my elf on the shelf turned into an elf on the shelf boy and girl. And the first couple of years I had it, I was doing it and it just became way too much. So now they just move around the house and sometimes they don't move. And I was cracking up because they didn't move. And my son was like, who touched them? I bet it was my big sister. And I was like, yep, she shouldn't have touched them. Mm-mm. And so I think the other key word is the word no.
Yes.
It's okay to say no.
Yes.
So that is some of the ways you can kind of avoid the pressure to overschedule. Number 2 is the pressure to overspend. So literally everything is so much more expensive right now. Everything. And social media is not helping, especially those of us with kids and those of us with kids that are on social media watching certain influencers and watching advertisements. And a lot of it's dictating a lot of these Christmas wish lists.
Mm-hmm.
I know my daughter has a whole app. There's a whole app.
It's a wish list app?
It's a wish list app. She watches the influencer and then they copy the link and put it right on the app.
Wow.
And there's a lot. I was actually talking to a few other teenagers this week who were telling me a lot of their list is dictated by this.
Mm.
And it's not cheap. So there's that. There's the obligation. I think sometimes we feel of gifting something to somebody just because they gifted something to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then also just sometimes a lot of our holiday celebrations revolve around gift giving.
Yes.
And so I think there's just a lot of pressure to overspend. So the way we're going to kind of combat this is to first and foremost, like while you're sitting down scheduling your time this weekend, schedule and prioritize who you actually want to purchase gifts for and make a list. And that's the people that are on your list. And then also while you're at it, look at your finances and then determine how much you have to spend, if anything. And if you don't have anything to spend, it's okay to not spend.
Absolutely.
And there are, if you're in that situation, there are organizations that can help if you have kids and want to get gifts, but it's okay to not spend if you don't have it.
Or put that thing on Afterpay.
Yeah, or Afterpay. We love Afterpay, apparently.
I do.
So then also while you're at it, create a budget of a total amount that's fair for either the person or the group. So like I put all my kids on like a list and then I was like, this is how much I want to spend at most for each kid.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I like to buy my colleagues at work just a little something. So I put in a total amount for like work friends.
Okay.
And that way I try not to go over that. And then I make sure that I stick to that budget. I think it's also okay to say no to those events that revolve around those gift giving. If you're feeling like if I'm sitting there and I'm not participating, I'm going to be left out, or just stop by, say hi, and then leave before those activities start if it's going to make you uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also exchange change kind of maybe how you exchange gifts. I know I was trying to explain like a white elephant gift exchange to you yesterday. You were like looking at me. I was insane.
I love those.
But those are fun. So there's so many ways you can do them. So like one way I've done it, which is actually just funny, where you pick something funny in your house that you don't use, but you already own. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
You wrap it up real nice. You have a little game that you play and then everybody opens it and kind of laughs about it. That's free. You can do it where you put a cap and say, okay, everybody bring, a $10 gift, $20 gift,
Right.
and then wrap it up and kind of play a game around that one. You can also consider maybe doing like a secret Santa drawing where you draw somebody in the family or draw friends. And then you just like have a limit and you buy one gift for that person, or maybe a couple of gifts. Like I know in the office, we've done that before where you just kind of do a couple little things and a big one at the end. And then just kind of, that's a little bit cheaper to do it that way. Consider also offering a gift or service that's free.
Yeah.
Some good ideas could be babysitting for a date night. So if you have friends or family that have young kids, that is one of the best gifts you can give them, because childcare is not cheap. And it's, sometimes hard to trust people to do that. If you can do like snow removal, lawn care coupons are for free, you can do those for people. You could even do like a coupon for a meal. Like tell me when you want to have a dinner cooked for you and I'll bring it over. That can be like low cost. You could offer to be a designated driver for a night out. That's pretty low cost. Or if you're handy, you could do like a handmade gift. And I think sometimes those handmade, I'm not crafty. Like I can't make things that are crafty, but I think sometimes those are some of the most meaningful gifts are the ones that are homemade. So what I chose to do for my kids this year, if you need a little idea, I saw this online. My kids are getting something to wear, something to read, something you want, something you need, and something fun to do. And it's going to vary. And obviously it's not all super expensive things. So, for example, like, something to read, all my kids had like one book that they were wanting to read. So I'm going to get them that. So that's just a way that you can kind of just limit the amount that you want to get. And it doesn't have to be a certain price. Mm-hmm. And then finally, just Everybody just, we're going to breathe in and breathe out and just let the feeling go that you need to give somebody something just because they gave you something.
Right.
It really is the thought that counts. And the people that care about you will appreciate the thoughtfulness of just if you do a small gift, or they're going to understand your inability to gift.
Yes.
I love to give people gifts, but I never expect somebody to give me a gift back. And honestly, people that care about you will also understand. And I don't think anybody that cares about you would ever want you to go into debt coming into the new year trying to get them or their kids gifts.
Yeah.
Most times it's about the thought versus the price.
Absolutely.
Yes. And if people care about you, they will respect your boundaries.
Yes.
So like if you go to the Christmas event and you only stay for an hour and that's all you can do, they should be able to understand that. I shouldn't have to, if it starts at 6 and is over at 12, why do I need to stay for the entire time? As long as I came, had dinner, said Merry Christmas and keep it moving, that's fine. Or even if I don't come at all, that's my boundary. If I choose to say no, then respect that.
Yeah. And so, I think there just is a lot of pressure that people feel. And just like I said, social media advertisements, just put it out there. And if you can't afford it, don't go broke over a holiday that is going to cause you to have a lot of stress in the new year. Yes. Come into the new year feeling confident with the budget or whatever you have going on.
Because if I go broke and I come ask to stay with you, and you say no, we're gonna have a problem. So I'm not, if I can't come stay with you, then don't you're not getting nothing.
So maybe you're just gonna get a free night stay at someone's house.
There you go. Yes.
All right. Number 3. This is the last one. The pressure to be in the holiday spirit.
Yes.
So for many people, honestly, I think they believe this is supposed to be the most magical, wonderful time of the year. We should be happy. We should be joyful. And honestly, it's realistically not the case for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. I mean, first and foremost, the days are short. The sun's not out. I mean, I know I go to work when it's dark. I sometimes leave when it's dark. If you live in the north like we do, it's cold.
And I'm ready to go to bed by 4:30.
Literally. I was just telling Big T, I drank coffee on the way here because I couldn't stay awake.
Yeah.
It's just, you kind of get into that mode. And those do tend to be a little more, sad and depressive times of the year. For some people, holidays are actually the opposite of joy and happiness due to some sort of change. Could be a loss, a move, a breakup, a divorce, death of a loved one, or just maybe a traumatic experience or a crisis situation surrounding the holidays. So I'm sorry. I flipped it. It was a weird. So just, kind of the ways to kind of get through that is to recognize that first and foremost, you have absolutely zero obligation to anyone, including yourself, to force yourself to be happy, joyful, peaceful, or any other emotion. You're not alone in these feelings, no matter how you may be feeling. There are people out there that have kind of experienced these things as well. For situations that you have, maybe that you have a recent loss or a change, while you're sitting down, if you're in this spot this weekend, maybe scheduling out your priorities, think about if you've had this, maybe try to anticipate what that's going to look like.
Right.
So maybe if you had a recent breakup or a divorce and you're used to spending time at a in-law or a partner's parents' house, and that's going to be missing from the holiday, what are you going to do to fill that time? Or how are you going to cope with the loss of that time? Because it's going to come up and it's going to be maybe a little difficult.
Yeah.
Also avoid trying to numb or ignore those feelings by using alcohol or other substances, which can actually have the opposite effect and increase your anxiety or depression. Not saying don't go out and celebrate, do you? But if it's something that you're using to actually numb the feelings that you're having, it's probably not going to help. It's actually probably going to make it a little worse. You can also see if you have people to surround yourself with who feel similarly. Maybe they've been in similar situations. If you recently have a breakup or a divorce or a separation, maybe find some single friends that want to go do something, make some new traditions. Or maybe you have people that have experienced the loss with you that might want to do something different to kind of, deal with the loss. Also for the loss of, if you are experiencing the loss of a loved one and it's maybe recent this year, think about, is there a way that I want to honor this person? I've been doing a lot of grief counseling the last couple of weeks. That's a big part of what I've been doing. And every time I say, are you thinking or planning on doing anything to honor your loved one? And I've gotten things that range from, nope, it's too soon. And that's okay. I've gotten things from no, but what do you think I could do? You could write down stories or memories and put it in a memory box. You could find a way to help somebody else go and help the community in honor of that person's name. You could go, if they have a place where a resting place, visit, put a wreath on the grave or, put flowers in the grave. I actually have someone in my life that had lost a parent some years ago. And I had asked them, are you going to go, where do you want to do anything to honor your mom? And that parent does not have a resting place. And they're like, well, what can I do? And I said, what about taking a wreath and putting it in the river and just kind of doing that to honor, because that family member liked being around water. So just anything you can do to kind of keep those people included in the celebration. If you're ready, if you're not, that's okay too.
Right.
And then give yourself and others a whole lot of grace. If someone's not feeling the holiday spirit, please don't push them to feel the holiday spirit
Absolutely.
at all.
Absolutely.
And if you are comfortable and you are in a space, maybe just offer to sit with them in the space that they're in. You don't have to fix it,
Yeah.
but just being where they're sitting with them. And that's only if you're able, because sometimes that's hard if you're not in a good space to sit with other people.
Mhm.
And as always, like we discussed, if you are feeling like you need to talk to somebody, whether it's today, whether it's tomorrow, or during the holiday season, please reach out for support. You can always dial that 988 number we talk about. That's the
Mhm.
mental health support line. And that can connect you with somebody 24/7, which will allow you to get hooked up with a mental health provider. They can provide you support. You can talk to somebody. It is definitely okay to not be okay, especially
Absolutely.
during the holiday season.
Yes.
And I couldn't think of a better gift to give yourself if you need it than mental health support.
Mhm.
If anything, gift yourself that. And honestly, that gift, I think, will then carry over to your loved ones who will be happy that you've provided yourself with those outlets.
Yes.
So there you go. That's my
That's what's up.
top 3 ways to survive the mental health killers of the holiday.
Girl, you said 3, but that was like 33.
Well,
That was and not in a bad way, but that was like
Yeah.
good. I respect that just because I know the holiday time is tough for some people.
Mhm.
And sometimes I feel like people feel like they have to rush their grieving process because the
Mhm.
holiday season is coming.
Yep.
And you need to understand that grieving is a process.
Yep.
So I don't care if the next 3 Christmases you don't feel like celebrating because of what you're going through, that is okay. Give yourself grace.
Mhm.
And remember that grieving is a process. You may feel great and happy today, and then the next 2 days you may not feel great and happy.
Yeah.
So but like Miss Amy said, give yourself grace. It's okay. So
Absolutely.
CD Dodson Chambers said holidays are depressing for a lot of people.
Very much
They
so.
are.
They
Especially
definitely
if you're missing loved ones.
Yes.
Like she said, losses, all that can factor into it.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And it's because you start thinking about what Christmas or Thanksgiving used to be like, so that can
Right.
definitely be tough.
Well, and I was even talking with somebody that the loss they experienced was a move.
Yeah.
Like, I am all new to this area. I know nobody. And so it's not like they were having like a grieving loss of like a loved one or a breakup or a divorce. It was simply just, I'm new. So I'm like, it's a change. And I had to kind of grieve the move where I don't really know anybody. So
Yeah.
holidays are going to look real different for them.
Absolutely. Janelle said, yes, setting boundaries and being okay with saying no.
Mhm.
Ooh, let me tell you something, boy. Shout out to my therapist. Shout out to Cecil. And I will shout him out every single time. Man, like I've really just this last couple months have really been setting boundaries, and it feels so damn good.
Mhm.
And I'm standing on business saying no. If I don't want to show up, I ain't coming.
Right.
If I don't feel like doing something, I ain't coming. You call my phone and I don't answer, I don't feel like it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We have to set those boundaries, and we have to get out of this this thinking or this mindset that we have to be constantly on for everybody 24/7. Like sometimes you have to turn the switch off.
Mhm.
And so setting boundaries and being okay with saying no has been like my thing.
Absolutely. And I think that, again, the holiday season, that becomes exaggerated
Yes.
because people always want you to be on, even more so because it's the holidays.
Absolutely. Yeah, they
So,
want you
and
to come. They want you to come to all the functions and hang
Mhm.
out and do all this other stuff. Sometimes you just want to sit at home and Netflix and chill and relax and kick back, especially when you work 40 hours a day and you have kids and you're ripping and running all day. Like sometimes you just want to sit at home and just relax and chill.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, all right. Well, thank you, Miss Amy, for that mental health moment. We always appreciate you with that. And remember, here at Mud Talk, our DMs and Messenger is always open. If you are not feeling okay, you can always shoot us a DM and we'll talk to you. We'll send you some resources and all that
Absolutely.
good stuff. We are always here. So we're going to go ahead and take a commercial break. And when we come back, we are going to get into these hot topics, man.
Yes.
So we cannot wait for that.
So that if they have hot topics, they can put them in.
Yes, if you have hot topics, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. We are going to read them live on air. And yeah, we're going to get into it when we come back. All right. Keep it locked. Yo, what's good, y'all? We are back here on Mud Talk. We want to say shout out to Village Academy for always being awesome for everything that they do. Village Academy is a technology-based childcare center that focuses on exposing your preschool student to technology that is a part of our everyday changing world. They also provide hands-on learning, field trips, and positive relationship building. For more information, contact them at 419-720-5355. So shout out to Village Academy,
They do
man.
such cool things. I love seeing all the pictures and all the learning that's happening.
I said I'm gonna pop up for lunch one day.
I know, right?
It
I
always
know.
looks so good.
I
So
know.
good.
Lexi is always posting like these pictures of them on field trips and shit, stuff. And I'm just like, you know what? Can't be doing that while we're talking about the child care center.
Right.
They always do dope stuff. So I
Mhm.
see them all the time, going on field trips to the park, and they have like dope people who come in and do like arts and crafts with them. And I'm just like, man,
Yeah, I saw that. They had
Yeah.
someone come in and they were doing like some paintings.
yes,
And it was so cool.
yes, they
I
were.
loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we might have to come through one day.
Yes.
Yes.
I would love to.
Yes,
Me
Lexi,
too.
let us come through.
I don't want to lead art class though, because I'm not.
Yeah, no.
We just want to be one of the students.
Yeah.
It was our inner child.
Yeah. I'll teach them how to cook.
I want
I like that.
lunch. I want nap
Yeah.
time. I want,
Yeah.
I want the nap
I
time.
just want the day off from paying bills.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
want to be an
Yes.
adult anymore. Mom, I'm sorry.
Yes.
You can put all the mushrooms you want in the dressing.
The dress.
I might not eat
You
it.
said all the mushrooms in the dressing. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Was there any mushrooms in your dressing this year?
No, I cooked this year.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yes. You're like
My
no
mom
mushrooms.
actually came over this year, and
Uh-huh.
we had friends come over because I don't have any family here but my mom. So
Okay. Lexi said during winter break, give us 3 hours.
All right.
Okay.
Can I get nap time on a cot?
Yes.
I would love that.
Because we old now, so I don't know about we gonna need a nap in between.
3 hours with a
3 hours with the
kids.
preschool kids. Yeah, we
We do an activity, lunch, and nap
Mhm, and nap
time.
time. Man, when I was 18, I taught preschool, and I had a lot of energy back then, and I still was tired every day. So bless you if you are a preschool teacher. You are doing great work.
Yes, and shout out to Lexi and Village Academy for even introducing technology to preschoolers. We need that.
Yes.
I mean, considering the world that we live in now, everything is technology based.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm getting to that age where like I kind of need younger people to help me use technology.
yes,
Like honestly.
because I did not know there was a wish list app. So,
Well, I didn't either until it showed up in my text.
Thank God my kids don't know about that one yet.
I won't. No, I won't tell them. I promise.
Well, they probably will know by tomorrow. All right. So, as we said, this is a very special show because this is where we talk about all of the hottest topics that is going on, whether it's in news, social media, and just in our world in general. And so we have some people send in some topics, and we also have some topics of our own. And so, we're going to go ahead and get into it. And then after we do our hot topics, we're going to take a look at some comments, right?
All right.
All right. So, Miss Amy.
So, what are you thinking? Where do you want to start? Do we want to start with weed, politics,
Well, that's a crazy transition.
weed politics, or our bodies? What are we thinking?
Let's start with politics. Let's be safe.
Yes.
All right. There's nothing that's unsafe. I was very safe,
Oh, okay.
when I was reporting. So,
Thank you.
a little backstory for this one. So, the USA Today reported that Senator Mitch McConnell, who was 81, froze at a press conference last month. Some of you might have seen that
Mhm.
on the news. And he, prior to that, suffered 2 recent falls
Mm.
and related injuries from those falls. And this definitely caused him to miss time away from his position as he's the Senate Minority Leader, which I'm not a governmental
But it's a big,
expert, but it's a big
job.
deal.
Yes.
Senator Dianne Feinstein was 90 and she's still serving,
Yes.
fell and was hospitalized last week. And she also spent 3 months away from her position from Congress after she was hospitalized with shingles in March and spent weeks recovering as she, experienced complications. Our Democratic and that's a big word. Democratic and Republican frontrunners, President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump, are the oldest candidates running in 2024 race. And whomever is elected, if any of them are elected, may not have the ability to finish out their term due to age-related factors or, God forbid, a death. Many Americans say that politicians who are older in age are out of touch with America and do not represent the people of America. So the question is, should there be mandatory retirement age or an age where politicians can no longer run for office? And if so, what age do you think that should be? Or do we think as long as the politicians are elected by the people, they should be able to serve as long as their term allows, or some positions don't have term limits. So whenever they decide they want to retire or quit.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's crazy to me that Donald Trump is even running for president still.
Mhm.
Again, considering that he was just impeached and like convicted.
Well, and has a whole lot of charges, but that's a
Yes.
whole nother hot topic.
Yeah,
Um,
that's just crazy to me. But I feel like there should be an age where they have to retire. One, because they are out of touch and they're creating and making these laws that don't even make sense.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these politicians who are making these laws, like they wanted to go back to the 1950s and the 1960s, and we're trying to progress forward,
Mhm.
and we can't do that when we have 80-year-olds and 90-year-olds in office.
Right.
So I feel like they need to worry more about their health rather than the health of other people right now. So that's that's
If
just
I had to give an age, I would say 70. Same with driving.
yeah.
Stay off the
God.
road.
Is that driving one 70?
I don't know. What
But
the
it needs to
driving
be.
is, but it needs to be a cap on that.
It needs to be.
It isn't.
Because Barbara want to drive on the 50.
Why's it got to be Barbara?
Barbara, Carolyn, Sandra, somebody, Meredith, whoever.
Yeah.
The speed
Joe.
limit is Joe.
Yeah, thank you for putting some males in that because that was a lot of female old drivers.
Yes. But yeah, so like they're driving down the street and the speed limit is 50, but you want to do 35. I can't do that.
Right.
And I wonder if they feel like I'm driving fast. Let me slow down. Like, I don't know, like why they do that. But yeah, definitely. I agree. It should be at least 70.
I actually think 70 is too old.
You think so?
And
I was gonna say 65, but you still have some people who are functioning quite well, better than some 30-year-olds.
Well, there are people that function well. I just think that as you hit the later part in your life, maybe not even the age related, more just like health related. Like there's a lot of health concerns, and I think, what is our retirement age? 65? Like that's what people. Then that's the one I think. I think it's time to retire.
Yes.
Be done. And would that be a limit that you guys would put on like running for office too?
I agree. Only because of the simple fact, like I said before, is that 80 and 90 is crazy to be in office. And a lot of those older people, they don't like change.
Yeah.
They want to keep things the same. They don't want things to progress forward.
Right.
And so with that, I feel like, as a country, we need to continue moving with or without you.
Right.
And that's just how I feel. So I would agree. 65, 70 is kind of pushing it, but 65.
Because especially if a term is like presidency is 4 years and potentially 8. Well, they've both been presidents before.
Yes.
So they can both only serve 4 years. But it's like, it was like, what? One of them was going to be 86 by the end of their term, and the other one was like 83 by the end of their term. That's just a lot.
Yeah. Greg said,
oh, hi, Greg.
Hey, Greg. He said, I think it should be some kind of cognitive test after a certain age to prove that they can still work. This is people's lives in their hand. Red, slow down with the comments. I can't even read it. He said, now also say 70 to 75 with some eligibility requirements.
Okay. And then was that, you said that, did you read the cognitive one? That's what I was.
Yeah. He said that it should be a cognitive test.
Okay. So some sort of cognitive test. Yeah. Because, well, that was the other, when I was researching this a little bit, I noticed like, it's even like a running joke with President Biden, like about his age and how, and some people are just worried that he doesn't even realize where he's at sometimes.
Yeah. Well,
and honestly, it almost feels like if we elect them, we're electing their vice president.
Yes.
So I feel like maybe that should, just because of there could be some outcomes or they might not be able to finish that term.
I don't know. Well,
we all agree there should be an age limit.
Should be an age limit. Absolutely. All right. Well, I got one.
All right.
Okay. So, there's a lot of debate about the music back in the day and the music now. And so the question is, was music in the past better, or has music quality declined, or is modern music just as good, if not better, than what was before it?
All right, I'm gonna need you to run that back.
Okay. So, was music in the past better, or has music quality just declined, or is modern music just as good, if not better, than what we had before?
I feel like this is one of those situations where like every generation feels like their music was the best music.
Mm-hmm.
Like I will fight with you every day that the 90s R&B hip hop era was the best R&B, best hip hop out there. But that was also like my prime time. That was like my prime music listening time back when I was, when you're in your teenage years and when you're in your college age years.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely, I don't feel the same vibes. Not necessarily R&B. There is some good R&B out now. But I think a lot of the R&B vibes now are running it back to 90s R&B vibes.
Yeah.
But there was a time where it was rough. Like,
I personally feel like a lot of the R&B now, like when it comes to women, there's more painful songs than there are like happy ones. And that's where my issue come in, because sometimes I want to listen to the R&B with the good messages, not just problems. That's a problem for me.
Yeah. I kind of feel like today's music, there's no originality. Like I feel like everything is
It's a
kind of the same.
sample.
Is if it's not a sample, then it's definitely I just feel like it's just everything just sounds the same to me. I don't feel like there's any originality.
Yeah.
It just everything sounds like that TikTok music.
And that's
So,
really what it is. And there's actually like a whole genre now of TikTok music,
yeah,
which if you listen to, a lot of it is, like you said, samples from back in the day.
yeah,
And it's so funny to me whenever I'm around like my daughter or her friends, and I'm like, oh, this song came from the 90s or the early 2000s. And they're like, no, this is a new song that we have nowadays.
yeah,
For me, rap is where it's way off. Like, I don't care. The mumble rap thing that we got going on right now,
yeah.
I'm not okay with that.
I'm not either.
Like, that is not a great situation.
Yeah. And I'm just also, and this is the other thing too. Back in the 90s, I feel like everything now is just like out there. Like it don't matter what it is, gushy, wet, you know what I'm saying? Like all of that stuff. And back then, like it was very like kind of subtle.
What were you listening to?
What back in I know we had My Neck, My Back and Trina and all that stuff.
T-shirt and panties,
Like all of that.
yeah,
But that wasn't necessarily the mainstream. But now that's out in the mainstream.
it is.
It's
And
out there.
Directed more towards our kids. That's
Yeah.
I don't know, man,
I'm
because
not
I remember
okay.
being 12 singing a whole lot of sexy things that I probably should have been singing back in the day.
But
back then you didn't really know because they played it on the radio and they kind of edited it and changed
Yeah.
it,
Yes.
around, and you really didn't understand the message. Whereas nowadays they just blatantly say
They're
it.
saying it.
they're
And
just
they're using
Like we were
direct
talking about
words.
coochie breathing
Yeah,
earlier.
and looking for the hoochie daddies and
Yeah.
Pound Town and all that other crazy stuff. So
I was literally watching a preschool the other day, and it was a TikTok, and she was like having preschool kids, 3 and 4 year old, like sing their favorite song, and this little itty bitty 3-year-old was like, "I'm gonna take it to Pound Town." And I was like,
yeah,
that's not okay.
yeah,
And you know that they're hearing that somewhere
yeah,
on the radio or on the
TikTok and
TikTok
and- yeah. And I feel like back then, like we had more diversity and choices. Like
Yeah.
if we wanted to listen to the raunchy stuff, then we went to listen to raunchy stuff. And you had to stay up to 2-3 o'clock in the morning and listen to BT Uncut to even know what's
Right.
going on. And
Mm-hmm.
then if I wanted to go and listen to R&B with Jodeci and Drew Hill and all that, I could go do that. But now, like I don't feel like there's too many options because all the good R&B, like you have to go and look for it.
Mhm.
You have to go and look for it. Otherwise, I mean, you're going to be listening to Letting the Coochie Breathe and Pound Town. And
Is that
everything
R&B?
else.
Slap on my coochie, like what?
Right.
Slap on my booty, what?
Right. Well, and I think too, just because I have to, a shout out to some of my my fellow white viewers. I believe too, just some of the, like when you look at some of the different genres of like rock music, alternative rock, I still believe that the earlier ones of that was just more, or even like the 60s and 70s, like classic rock, there was a lot more musicianship there. And maybe I'm wrong. I just feel like there was a lot more musicianship there than just a lot of like computerized beats. And
Yeah.
now there's anything wrong with that, Red. No shade to our audio people, but I definitely think that there is more to be said about the music that was coming out of there with live bands and live music, live drumming, instruments, and things like that.
So let's read some comments real quick. Frank, the director, Gray said they talk about it tastefully back in the day. Now they just blunt.
Yep.
Greg said, I feel it's the same now as it was then.
I kind of agree with that.
And then I was laughing because he said we were in elementary school singing H-Town knocking
Absolutely.
the boots. But we didn't know what they said, knocking the boots. Like we didn't know what that was.
But you know what though? I'm not convinced that my little 3-year-old
I wanna-
Pound Town friend knows what Pound Town is either.
I want to park that Big Mac truck right in his little garage. Like they weren't singing that and knocking the boots.
But
I
not
legit thought they were knocking boots.
But see, this is where I just. But you know what? I can honestly say that, and this might be just because I'm a little older than you guys, because I was like older hearing some of these songs. But I'm looking at that going, I guarantee right now, a little itty bitty's listening to that thinking there's somebody actually parking a truck in a garage. Like they're just like you thought somebody was knocking boots together.
They were knocking boots together, but they weren't out here. Now I will say, there were a couple. Now I will say, Silk, Let Me Lick You Up and Down. Okay,
Right.
I'm gonna give you that.
I was standing in my living room singing I Want to Lick You Up and Down, Freak Me Baby, oh yeah, like on my couch, yelling it. I got in trouble. My mom was like, turn that off. Or I Want to Sex You Up. That was another one that was a big one.
Yeah, see?
Like, and those were from back in the day. So I don't know. I kind of agree with Greg on that.
Yeah, I just feel like it's just more out there, it's blunt. But I feel like everybody back in the 90s wasn't just so blunt like that. Everybody now is blunt. It's out there. It's Pound Town, Coochie Brown, just everything is just so blunt.
Maybe there's more. Maybe we're
And
more
everything-
descriptive now. Maybe
and-
we just have more adjectives. in
and
it.
everything is, how can I put it? Everything is so sexual. Everything is so overly sexualized.
I don't know, man. I still think back in the day it was too. We just didn't maybe realize it.
No,
Like,
could we have some songs like "Shorty Swing My Way," "She'll Look Good to Me," and we're going skating. But there's no way back in the day we were skating to "My Neck and My Back." We were not. And if you did, then we got some questions. Because what skating rink did you go to?
I feel like this is one of those. Maybe we're just getting older and we're like turning into that generation.
Red, I can't read the comments. You're clicking too fast now.
I feel like maybe we're turning into that generation where we're like, oh, that young kid music nowadays. Just like my parents were saying about "Lick Me Baby Up and Down" on "Freak Me Baby," and or what was the R. Kelly "Bump and Grind"? Oh, there was a whole dance to "Bump and Grind." I was like 12, and we all had a whole little thing. And we're 12-year-olds running around the mall singing, "Bump and Grind" and a whole bunch of other ones.
Yeah, HD the Garage said it's a race to how ratchet you can get. So
Okay.
yeah, and Greg said, remember Two Live Crew. Well, we already knew they was ratchet when they came out. We already knew what that was. Uncle Luke himself, he marked that himself, so we already knew how that was going to go down. So, but I wasn't a kid listening to Two Live Crew.
We didn't have a Sexy Red who promoted unprotected sex and STDs,
Yes,
things like that, and that's not the message we're trying to send to our kids,
Yeah.
especially if we have daughters.
and the thing is that even with artists like TLC, even though they were singing Red Light Special, they were still wearing condoms and saying protect yourself.
Let's
Even-
talk about sex,
Right.
baby. Yeah.
Even Uncle Luke, who was promoting having sex, but he would also say have safe sex. So he wasn't just out here saying like Pound Town booty hole brown. He said if you're gonna go to Pound Town, make sure you grab a condom first. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, maybe they just apply that the condoms, it's already in.
Because
the
Sexy Red has
condom.
a whole what she got? Isn't a chapstick line where everything is like it's sexual, like every flavor of the chapstick is sexual.
So maybe it's
like
like,
one of the flavors is called gonorrhea.
oh God.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that is literally ruined by any type of appetite it might have had. Maybe what it is too is like the off stuff that some of the artists are doing is more out there because of social media. Like I would have never seen some of these artists in the 90s because we didn't have social media
Yeah.
to promote your gonorrhea lipstick line or
And
whatever
things
it
like
is.
that when it's sold in the 90s. It's just
Oh, I
it's
think
a
they might
totally
have.
different era.
Yeah, and because back in the 90s we were promoting safe sex because there was an
Mhm.
AIDS epidemic that was
Absolutely.
happening. You know what I'm saying? So it was safe sex. But now, like they said, it's like a race to see who can be the most provocative and the most ratchet. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna let the coochie breathe and go to Pound Town and what did Sukihana say? Sukihana was talking about eating butt and just all type of crazy stuff.
So here's what I think too, and I think there's actually like people out there are saying though that it's more of a freedom, like women are getting more freedom to express themselves too. Because there were some female artists back in the day,
Yes.
but there's a whole lot more now. They're like, no, I'm gonna be me and I'm gonna be my sexual free self,
Yes.
and I'm gonna promote that in the music that I'm doing.
But I also feel like the female artists back then had diversity. They could rap about
Yes.
sex, but then they can also just spit a bar. We don't have a lot of those female
Yeah, I
rappers
agree.
that can do that. Like I may say Megan Thee Stallion, she can give you a bar about sex, but then she can give you a bar about depression and anxiety too. So
Mhm.
there's not a lot of women artists who are diverse now because
I'm not gonna lie, there's not a lot of men artists.
Oh no,
who go to bar
absolutely.
either
Yeah,
because-
there are not a men who they sing the same shit too, but
Right.
we just don't have that diversity. Like Greg said, he said Tupac, I Get Around, which is an example. Tupac can sing I Get Around, but then he also can rap about Brenda's Got a Baby.
right.
There was diversity. Everybody in the 90s wasn't just, okay, I want to sex you up. Yeah, but then I could spin the block and sing about something positive.
Right.
So, but now there's nothing positive that's on the radio.
That's true.
There's
And
nothing
I think it's
positive on the
because
radio.
honestly, I think some of the standards were actually they've been loosened over the years too.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, when I was listening to the radio in the 90s and 2000s, you couldn't say bad words on the radio in a song.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, well now you can say like ass or damn. And then they like kind of extreme, and then they had to, I mean, if you listen to something like early Nelly,
Yeah.
when you listen to some of those songs, there were so many sound effects bleeping out the words. And now you can tell what the word is. They just bleep out like one letter.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a big difference too, is the standard on the radio is just out there.
Yeah, I mean, and even with artists like Ludacris, I mean, one of my favorite songs that I got in trouble for singing was "What's Your Fantasy," and I got into a whole lot of trouble. But then also Ludacris spun the block and came out with "Runaway Love."
Yeah.
So there was diversity. Right now in this generation, there's not an artist. I cannot go listen to Ice Spice and she's singing whatever she be singing, and then she's going to spin the block and sing something positive. There's nothing that's come out of this.
And I
generation.
Get Around ain't got nothing on Tatiana or any
Yeah.
of the
Yes.
other new age songs.
Well, and I think too, like, I mean, I've had kids are listening to things a lot earlier because we also have the streaming services,
Oh,
and
yeah.
streaming services aren't bleeped. So there was no stream. I mean, I'm in my bedroom when I'm a kid pushing play record. I don't even know if you guys remember that.
Yes.
And I'm recording it on like a cassette tape, and, off the radio and having to fast forward through the commercials. Where now, my 9-year-old can go online.
Yes.
YouTube.
It's
And I
right
mean,
on YouTube.
I had my 9-year-old came in my house when he was in kindergarten. And he was like, "What's a 69?" I was like, "I'm sorry, what?
Yes.
How did you learn that?" And he was like, "Well, I heard it on his older brother, who was 16 or 17. It was in his car on the music."
Yeah.
And of course, I made his older brother have to explain that to him because I was like, "That's inappropriate." But I mean, there's no reason why my 9-year-old should have known that.
Yes, absolutely.
You
And
know?
then the thing is, like us growing up, it was so edited to the point, like when we heard the real version, we were like, "What is this? Like, I've never heard this version
You
before."
almost felt uncomfortable.
Oh,
listening
yes.
to
True,
it.
truly.
Yes.
Because I just thought those noises were meant to be there.
Yes.
Little pops and the little, whatever they used to bleep it out.
Yeah, because when I first heard my neck, my back, I was like, "Oh, this is not bad." But when I heard the real version, I was like, "What is this?"
Well, I already knew it was
Absolutely.
for
You said what?
Uh-huh.
Moon and I.
Oh yeah, all of that. Ooh, yeah, I don't know. Greg said, "Don't forget about Nelly Tip Drill." Well, there was that.
There's that.
BET Uncut.
But you had to stay up to 3 a.m. to even see it.
Video, credit card on the butt. I'm like, what? I'm on the man. It was not me.
Hey, you could have recorded it. You could have set your VCR to record and then.
Remember, you would have the TV like on the previous channel in case you heard somebody.
Yeah, and then you had to, like, flip it real quick. Mhm. Yep.
That's
Yeah.
funny. All right.
And you know what, Greg? Don't talk about my age.
Oh
because
yeah,
we're talking-
Greg said you're showing your age, Miss Amy.
I'm old. I'm older than everybody in this room. It's fine.
Yes, that's funny. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take a commercial break. When we come back, we are going to have our special guests. Everything. These comments are hilarious. I'm gonna come back and read
Yeah,
some
we'll
more.
read some of the
We're gonna
comments.
read some more when we come back. But when we come back, we have Mr. Craig Burney. He's gonna be in the hot seat with us. And he told us we got to get him a nickname. We can't call him.
We got a nickname. You.
CB.
I told him CB.
CB.
Oh, I'll have to think about
But we
it.
don't want that to be confused with Chris Brown, though.
No.
Yeah, we
No.
don't want that. We don't
We
want
just
that
gonna
problem.
call him Mud Talk CB.
That's a lot. That's a long name.
That's a long name. So
CB 419.
Yeah.
I mean, I go for that.
we have to figure it out. So we're gonna figure that out when this commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna have Mr. Craig Burney in the building. So keep it locked.
Mud Talk with Big T, Shay, and Miss Amy.
Mud Talk is the only show that brings you the latest in music, news, and fashion and keeping your ears to the streets while you grind and shine. Hosted by Big T, Shay Renee, Amy, and your boy Red. Be sure to tap into Mud Talk every single Friday starting at 8 p.m. live on Facebook and YouTube. And catch us the next day wherever you stream your podcast.
What's good, y'all? We are back here on Mud Talk. We want to say thank you to everybody who supports the show. We appreciate you, whether
Yes.
you listen on iHeartRadio, Sirius XM Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora Radio, or even on Facebook and YouTube. We truly appreciate you guys for supporting the hottest podcast that's on air. I'm going to stop saying the hottest podcast in the 419. I'm going to say the hottest
air.
podcast that is hitting your airways every single Friday night. You know, we give you your raw news, we give you your entertainment, and we're informational. So,
Absolutely.
So yeah, and we also want to say shout out to everybody who bought some Mud Talk merch.
Yes.
We appreciate
Right
it.
here, you guys are both tangled up. Stretch that out a little bit. There
What
we
is
go.
stretch it out? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Oh
we
yeah.
want to see the logo.
Yes.
Yeah.
You said stretch it out. I was like, what are you talking about?
Stretch. Not the
Oh,
stretch
gotta be
it.
careful.
Not trying to judge your outfit.
Gotta be careful.
But if they want, they can go on our link tree in our bio. If you follow us on @MudTalk419 on Instagram, there's a link tree. There's a link. You can go in. You can support us, and proceeds that we make all go to support mental health in the Black community.
Absolutely, yes. And shout out to everybody that's been buying merch. We see that Craig got some merch on.
Yes, indeed.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Black Lido. We appreciate Black Lido. Shout out to Janelle, who wore her sweater
Yes.
today. Shout out to Kiara, who wore hers today. Man, shout out to everybody who's been wearing the Mud Talk
Absolutely.
merch, man.
I love seeing it.
I love it. It's really dope. Now I kind of want the yellow one because
Yeah.
it looks kind of
Yellow
dope.
one looks nice.
I
I like the red one though.
I know. I like that red one.
A lot of
We
Did you
don't-
get yellow because that's UT colors?
Nah, I got yellow. I just thought it would stick out a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
That-
like
that's
the
the
way
only
you
reason?
matched
That's
that
the only
up.
reason.
He's
There's no
solid.
reason.
And Amy helped me out as well.
I did. I did do that. I forgot about that. I did. pick
Yes,
that
we
up.
look like ketchup and mustard right now.
Yes, you did. I should wear my black hoodie and then like maybe even it out a little bit.
I
But
know, right?
it's all right.
Yes, but shout out to everybody that taps into the Hottest Podcast. We got to say shout out to Black Lido for being the official sponsor of the Mud Talk Podcast and the home of, the Mud Talk Podcast show. We
And Many
appreciate
Faces
you guys.
podcast.
And Many Faces Podcast Studio. So shout out to y'all. And yeah, we appreciate y'all. But before we move on to our next more hot topics, it's a cup check time. So what is in your cup?
What's in your cup?
I have water in my cup. What is in your cup?
I don't have a cup.
I have a cup. Oh
What's
my
in
god,
your
I'm
cup?
stuck.
I got you.
Thank you. See, look, I'm just trapped in here.
Yeah.
In my cup today, I have some water with some pomegranate cranberry water packet flavoring
Oh,
for the holiday.
Fancy.
Yeah. Well, it's just I stopped drinking pop probably about 7 months ago,
Oh,
and I need something because I don't like just plain water all the time. So that's been my thing.
like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Shay, what you
I
got in your
love
cup?
plain water. High quality H2O.
We love it.
High quality.
Yes.
Is it spring water or is it
It's Kroger.
Tap.
tap water? No, listen. Like my kids will
It's
not.
Kroger.
They will not drink purified. They will not drink anything but purified. Like if I buy spring water, they're like, "Ew, that came out of a spring." I'm like, "It's water."
Yeah.
I'm about to put it out of the tap and then trick them.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be dope.
Cheaper.
Yeah. So we got
What's in your cup?
I don't have a cup, but earlier I was drinking this nice drink that had a lot of electrolytes in it.
One of those hydrational drinks.
one of
that
those hydration drinks. Yes,
Comes in
absolutely.
different colors.
Yes, comes in different colors,
Comes in different colors.
different flavors. You can get them at your
You guys
local
catch what we're
grocery store.
throwing.
You can get at your local
Oh,
grocery
Lord.
store, and if you need some hydration, it's your go-to. So yeah, put in the comments what's in your cup. We're gonna do a cup check, and we're gonna read some more of those comments and see what y'all drinking on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Greg said water.
Greg,
Good for you, Greg. I'm proud of you
we are proud of you,
for
Greg.
hydrating
we
along
love-
with us.
We love people who drink water.
Yes,
We love
for
it.
you.
So I told Craig earlier today when I saw him, I said, this is his test run because he wants to be like the fourth co-host on
Is
Mud
that why you're
Talk.
sitting
Yeah.
up so tall? He's
That
like,
is.
I'm ready.
Yes,
I'm ready.
Better talk right
he's
to that
ready.
mic then.
And so I told him, I was like, we're like the Breakfast Club. And I'm like, you can be like our Just Hilarious. And he was like, no, I don't want
He's
to be
like,
Just
no.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
So he wants to be the Angela Yee of
Yeah.
our show right now.
I wouldn't want to be Just Hilarious either. No offense to Just Hilarious.
Hey, now.
I
I need a
just
star and roll.
You said what?
I need a star and roll with you guys.
Yeah, he wants to be like in the intro and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I just need to get we got to get your nickname first though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we got
I
it.
told him earlier, like maybe Ice Cold or something.
Cold. Ice Cold. What is he like? Isn't that like a wrestler name?
No.
Well, that's Stone Cold. Never
Yeah,
mind.
Stone Cold Steve
Ignore me.
Austin. I don't know.
I don't know.
I was just trying to come up with something because the alphas. and
It'll
Ice
just
Cold,
come up naturally.
yeah,
It'll just happen one day.
it'll just happen. But for now, he's Craig. So
It happened today.
we're just gonna call him by the government
see.
for now.
Right.
So all right, let's go ahead and get back into these hot topics. So Miss Amy.
Were we gonna read those comments before we do
yes,
that?
yes. So
All
let's go ahead. So
You gotta rewind that a little bit. We got quite a few.
I
up
know.
there.
So let's go. We're gonna scroll back up. All right. So some of the hot topics that people actually dropped in the comments. We had where did it go? Oh, so Frank the Director Grace said in 2023 there is not any good R&B. And then he also said, and in the 70s, it seemed like everyone knew how to sing. What happened to them?
I agree with that too. No auto tune.
Yes, no auto.
A lot of auto tune nowadays.
Hey, leave T-Pain alone though, because we love T-Pain.
I listened to T-Pain's real voice the other day. He was doing
He's
an
really
interview.
good.
Well, his real voice, like his talking voice and his singing voice, it surprised me.
Yeah.
They're like, this is T-Pain. I'm like, this is not T-Pain.
Yeah.
I need the like electric T-Pain.
Yes, I like it.
Yeah.
So Frank's hot topic was he said, "What's up with Diddy?"
A lot.
I knew that was coming. We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get to that one. And then the other comment from HD, the Garage said, "Is the music business over?" And that was another one. And then Greg said he's drinking water in his cup. So we're gonna spin the block on those hot topics at the end of
Okay.
the show. So what are some of the other hot topics you got for us?
Some
Miss
other
Amy?
hot topics. I'm sorry, I got so distracted by music that I'm passionate.
Man, listen, look at
Okay.
that.
All right. So here's one. So with our government attempting to pass laws outlawing abortion, we already have laws right now that mandate seatbelts, laws against assisted suicide, and then during COVID, mandating the use of masks. Many people have spoken out about the government regulating what Americans do with our own bodies. Some say it's the government's job to protect the safety of people. and what they do, and others believe the government is overstepping and shouldn't have the authority to regulate what Americans do with our bodies. So, should the government be allowed to have laws regulating what we do with our bodies? And if so, what areas do you believe that should be regulated and should not be regulated? Or should the government be banned from passing laws about what Americans do with our own bodies?
I don't feel, well, it depends. I feel like if it's a public health issue, then absolutely. So like the pandemic, how everybody was losing their brains over wearing masks, but you out here buying tissue for no reason. I didn't understand that.
We feel like those were the same people.
Yes.
So if you were the one that did not want to wear a mask, you were the one out there buying up all the tissue.
Thinking it was going to save you from COVID, which I don't understand that. But I feel like if it's a public health issue such as COVID or some type of pandemic, then absolutely, because you wanting to be an asshat, you are not protecting yourself from other people. There are people who have
I've heard the word asshat forever.
Asshat.
I've literally not heard that in probably like 20 years.
Well, there you go.
Thank you.
So, I don't want to, if someone has a compromised immune system, I don't want to be a jerk and get you sick. So therefore, I do feel like sometimes there needs to be where the government steps in and say, hey, we need people to wear masks because I don't want to get Shay sick who may have a compromised immune system. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you don't want to be that person is out grocery shopping because you're like, give me my rights. Don't take away my rights. Like, this is not a right. We want people to be safe. Yeah. Now, some things such as abortion and all those other issues, that's your body. And if you choose to do what you want to do with that, then hey, that's up to you. But I feel like if it's a public health issue, then absolutely that's when the law needs to step in.
I totally agree.
I'm actually more on the other side of like, I don't think the government should be able to regulate anybody's body because I don't think there's a place that you can actually draw the line. I see the public health issue. Like I see that. But I mean, on the same token, you have people out here saying, we need to be, women should never be allowed to have an abortion. Or a lot of the same people that were saying, don't tell me what to do with my body with a mask. And I'm like, which one is it? Should they tell us what we should do with our body or should they not tell us? And I just genuinely think that, when it comes to somebody's own personal body, it is their own personal choice. Right. And I don't think you can draw the line and say, well, abortion's wrong, but masks are right. But, assisted suicide's wrong, but that's your own body. And which is like when you're allowed to take your own life if you're, at the end of life, or, you have to wear a seatbelt, which is the law. Yeah. Because wearing a seatbelt doesn't necessarily protect anybody else but you. So I just don't feel like that's the government's business because I think that's them telling us to do a lot with our own personal life. Yeah. And then where does that line stop?
But then it also makes you wonder too, like, when exactly does the government step in when it comes to a public health issue? So for instance, we talked about in the 90s, there was an AIDS pandemic, right? They didn't make it mandatory for people to wear condoms.
And I think a lot of people use that, like when they were talking about the mask. Well, listen, but I mean, and you know what? I think instead the government in their own way started doing education and obviously they've done a lot of research and there's been some treatments out there to help people. And you can, live a full life if you have HIV and AIDS. But you're right. But I also look at that like they should have told everybody that they had to wear condoms. If you have AIDS, you have to wear condoms. But then that's telling you what to do with your body. Yes. And is that fair? And I personally don't like the fact that our government is going to step in and tell us what to do with our bodies.
Absolutely.
That's just me.
What you think, Greg?
I think if we look at something from the perspective of just being a human being, I think that we will make the right decision. If it's COVID or the pandemic, we should wear a mask to try and protect everyone around us, not just yourself, but everyone around us. But when it comes to abortion, there's so many factors that go along with that, and so many stories that goes along with that. I think that woman has the ability to say, hey, I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do this. I think that we just have to look at it from that vantage point. And if we do, I think we'll make all of the right decisions.
You have a lot of faith in humanity and the brilliance of people.
I do.
Because I love people. I love humans, but I know there's a lot of humans out there that probably maybe wouldn't be able to make that decision, which is why I think the government thinks they should have to step in.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a hot topic that I actually forgot to put down. So because we're talking about masks. So recently in Philly, there's been a huge uptick in crime in Philly. And so the Philadelphia government has made it illegal to wear ski masks in public. And so there's this big debate right now about people are like, well, I agree that you should not be able to wear ski masks in public, obviously. But there are other people who are like, what if it's cold outside and this is the wrong time to make ski masks illegal? So do you guys agree with that? Do you think that ski masks should be illegal?
Because that's the same thing that the government told to do.
I mean, I feel like they should. It just depends on the job you're doing. Because if I work outside in construction or doing anything like that in cold temperatures, I should be able to wear something that fully covers me.
Yeah.
But there's also different alternatives, like again, the mask, a hat, scarves. Like we've been doing this for years without the ski mask.
Yes, and there's no reason why it's June. I'm in the bank and you wearing a ski mask. Like there makes no sense. I'm in Kroger and you have on a ski mask.
They definitely should be banned from public places.
But then where do you draw the line? Because I mean, so let's say you tell me I can't wear my ski mask. So guess what? I'm about to go get myself a medical mask. I'm going to say I had COVID and go rob my bank or whatever I need to do. Because
the thing is, the government still wants you to wear a mask anyway.
They don't want you. They want you to.
They want you to wear.
So that to me, banning a ski mask is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because there's other facial coverings that you can use.
Yeah, well, they're saying that because the people who are doing all of the stuff the crime that's happening in Philly, people are wearing the ski mask. Majority of people are wearing a ski mask, and then people feel uncomfortable. And so, me personally,
it induces panic.
It induces panic. And then the other thing is
whatever having a pantyhose on the face. Wasn't that a thing?
Well, they're using them for other reasons now.
Well, we talked about that in the songs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but the other thing is too that some people are arguing is that they feel like it's a lot that's targeting minorities as well too, because majority of people who wear ski masks are young minorities, youth, and so that's kind of a debate. But that law went into effect immediately. Like the Philly government was not playing.
So what's next? Are they going to start banning the fact of like you can't wear a hood in public or you can't? I can't wear gloves. Like it's
the mask. Well, and then if you wear a mask in public in Philly, a ski mask, the fine is $500.
Okay.
Yeah, so
they aren't playing. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, but
I don't know.
Hopefully, you know what? Let's see. Let's see if it takes the crime down.
My thing is, I just want to know, why are we wearing a ski mask indoors? That's just what I want to know. Like,
it's cold in Philly right now.
Inside.
But are you saying like once it's settled, like you should take that ski mask off?
Like if it's June and we're outside, like why do you have a ski mask on?
They just went into effect now when it's cold, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that this law is going to carry. But my question is, the kids are not wearing them because it's cold outside.
Because it's the style thing.
Yeah. But why are we? It's June. We're at the family kickback and at the barbecue, and you have on a ski.
Because all of their favorite rapping friends wear their ski masks,
and who are also talking about shooting and killing.
And also, I'm surprised you can understand them. Honestly, when they talk about it.
I have certain artists these days that I like to listen to.
Yes,
right now,
I agree.
Yeah,
but
right now my favorite song is "Peaches and Eggplant."
I know that. And let me tell you how I know this. Let's rewind it back to Ty's birthday.
Oh, I played it like
he doesn't remember. Yes, like 5 or 6 times. Every time I turned around, and then he was getting other people to play it for him. I heard so much Peaches and Eggplants in my life that day.
So do you like the regular version or the remix?
I like the version with 21 Savage and Young Nudy. That's the regular version. Yeah, I don't like the remix yet. I mean, I haven't heard the remix, I can't say, but
that's what Sexy Red and Lotto.
Oh no, thank you. I'm good.
We've already learned that Sexy Red and Lotto's just not it today.
She's not it today. But yeah, shout out to that song. That's one of my favorite songs right now.
Yeah, it's definitely your favorite song.
It is.
I feel like we're gonna hear that at some point before I leave here today.
I already played it before you came here. I was by myself.
And he made me download it when I came to his birthday party.
I do remember that. Yeah. Yes, I remember that. That was good.
Yeah. Wait, you can Lenny's?
This was well before Lenny's.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
This is when we were eating.
We were at dinner.
Yeah, like
he said birthday party, so it made me think we were
That's
out.
where it started,
Yeah, it's always a party with Big T.
Yeah, I didn't make that part. I was sick the day before. I had a stomach bug.
Okay, all right.
Well, I was there for it all, and there was a lot of peaches and eggplants. That's all I know.
Eggplants, yes. I probably spent a lot of credits on that jukebox.
You spent a lot of my credits on there too. I bet if I go back and look, it played like 4 or 5 times. It's okay. It was your birthday. It was your day.
Yes, it's my one time of the year where I act up, and that's it. So, all right. What's next on our hot topics list, Miss Amy? What we got?
Oh, do we have any hot topics? Do we have any
Greg?
comments on that
one? Greg said it's not that cold in Philly. So,
well, he's a big Eagles fan, so he might know.
No, shout out to the Browns, man.
What?
Go Cowboys!
Shout out to the Browns. You say he's an Eagles fan. I said shout out to the Browns.
I know you're a Browns fan.
I am a Browns fan.
I was over here trying to process how he thinks it's not that cold in Philly.
Well,
it's cold in Philly.
It looks cold as fucking Philly.
We
always
it's cold in
on Sunday.
Huh?
We actually played them on Sunday.
That's my fantasy quarterback, and he is nice on the ice. So I'm ready to watch that game.
Okay. All right. What's next on our hot topics, Miss Amy? What you got?
I'm sorry. I was distracted by Jalen Hurts.
She's thinking,
all right. Speaking of football, let's see that one.
Greg said Shay was cool until she said "Go Cowboys."
This is our hot topic right here. Just all of our teams.
Yes.
My team just self imploding. So I'm a Bengals fan. So
Oh Lord.
You're gonna want to be my friend again after we beat y'all Sunday. So.
All right. So this is for our sports fans, and we say this for you because I know that you
that's
are
a good
sports
transition.
fan. So now that money is a factor in college sports, so if you do not know, college athletes are now allowed to be paid based on their likeness, which means that they are allowed to get and make money on them playing. They can have their names. If you notice now that when you play some college sport video games, there's names on the jerseys, and it's a big business. And there are athletes out there making millions driving on college campuses and Ferraris and Porsches and all the fancy cars. So now that money is a factor in college sports and athletes can make money for playing in their school, should they have to sign a contract that mandates them to remain at that university that they agreed to play for and that they're making money for playing there and fulfill that contract staying at that school like the pro leagues do? Or should they be able to easily enter the transfer portal, which is a big hot topic as in and of itself, and switch universities no matter how much money has been paid out to them for playing for the university that they signed with? And right now, currently, there are no contracts mandating athletes to stay at specific schools. And there are a ton of athletes right now that are entering the transfer portal, trying to go to different universities. And is that fair to the businesses in those towns who've invested in saying, hey, I want this, I'm investing in you for playing at, Michigan or Ohio State or wherever you are, and then having that athlete up and transfer somewhere else. So I'm gonna let you start this one.
I think that I'm pro player with this. For so long, players had not been getting paid for their likeness, and the school benefited from it. They would get a scholarship, which is cool.
Yeah.
But they weren't getting paid for the amount of effort that they put into their craft. I think now it's their time to be able to say, hey, I want to make this money. If I choose to go over here, I can do that. It's okay. Because I think that they're finally getting the reparations that they need.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, if you look at look at the NFL, so you're in the NFL and they have to sign a contract because they're investing a lot of money into that athlete. So do you think the NFL should there be a transfer portal there where they can transfer to various teams and, be on their own? Like, I don't want to play for the Browns anymore. Because why would you want to play for the Browns?
Usually watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Or the Bengals, especially the Cowboys. Honestly, no. But like, if I don't want to play for these teams, should I be able to transfer easily without, But right now they have contracts in pro sports that bind them there.
That's a tough one.
That's why it's a hot topic.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I would say this: there can be a contract. I wouldn't do a 4-year contract, maybe 2 years, to kind of figure it out, see if you like it, and then make that move. Because even in pro sports, if you're a max player, you're going to do 6 years, 7 years.
Right.
But if you aren't a max player, you might do 2 years here, you might do 1 year here. So maybe a 1 year or a 2-year contract just to see if you are a perfect fit with the school.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you might not be a perfect fit with the team, and you might need to go elsewhere to be able to really maximize your talents.
Or personal reasons. So I totally agree with everything.
And then I'm also wondering too, like, if those players are locked into contracts and they don't want to be there, they're going to find a loophole to get out of it. So they may intentionally fail out of school just so they can go to another school. So, but I do agree with what Craig was saying, is that they should be able to have control, because so many people and businesses have made money off their likeness that now it's time for me to have a say so in what I want to do and where I want to go. But I do feel like there does need to be like like you said, a 2-year contract. I wouldn't say 4, but at least like a 2-year contract.
Yeah. And I think some of the other part of the hot topic of this with the transfer portal was people were saying, what message is that? Because they're still young kids. Like, I don't care if you're in college, you're 18, 19, 20, is that but I'm just saying, is that teaching them to take the easy way out? Almost like when you're in high school sports, and instead of, encouraging a kid to earn your spot and work for your spot, they quit the team. So is that transfer portal and allowing them to go wherever they want, teaching them any type of like commitment, or is it like, okay, well, I'm not going to play, I'm not going to start, not referring to any, specific schools or quarterbacks that might be in the transfer portal, because I am a fan of that team. But is that teaching them to be able to be committed to something, or are they just kind of, I'm going to throw a tantrum because I'm not playing and just
try to go somewhere else? Yeah.
I like that they have the freedom to go wherever their career will allow them to advance the most. So if this school isn't giving me what I need, maybe academically or, in my sport choice, then I'm going to go somewhere that does, somewhere that's going to expose me the way I need to be exposed and open more opportunities.
Yeah. And I would say with parental consent. Like you as an 18-year-old, you can't just be like, I'm about to up and transfer and go to school. Like, no, you need to have parental consent because at the end of the day, your parents are paying some form of tuition for you to be at that school.
But which actually is actually false because they will once you're in college, the FERPA laws, you're an adult. There's parents have nothing to do with it.
Oh, well.
Like if I were right now, like I taught college. If I had an 18-year-old parent call me, I actually cannot talk to them without the kid releasing that to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much money you're paying for that. If you're even paying for them to be there. And don't get me wrong, there is a lot of parents who want to start talking to college professors because they're so used to doing that coming through. And I'm sure there's a lot of sport parents because we know how sport parents are.
Yes.
That's not me. I'm not like that. I just sit back and enjoy the show now. But there's a lot of sport parents that want to have their hands in things. And I think that's where it's tough too, is we're giving 18-year-olds millions of dollars, which I think they deserve.
Yes.
But it's like, I just want to know what the education is behind that because pro athletes have a hard time managing money and they're in their early 20s.
And that's what I was going to kind of piggyback off of what you just said. Are they going to give them guidance on breaking down these contracts, reading these contracts, what goes into these contracts? Because if you're going to put that stipulation on them and say, okay, well, we're doing this because in the pros, they do this with these contracts, but they are able to understand those contracts as well. So I would just hope that if that was to come into play, that they have the ability to know what that contract is saying that they're,
right.
that they're reading.
Yeah.
I just had that conversation with my son. He's in college. He wants to go to law school. He doesn't know what kind of law to study. And I said, go into contract law. I said, because I bet you right now that is going to be a booming profession because somebody needs to be looking at these contracts just like pro contracts.
Right.
So that they're not being taken advantage. And I do genuinely think there needs to be some sort of education because that's a lot of money. And I know, like I said, an 18-year-old, I got a 21-year-old. And if I gave him a couple $1 million, I'm worried for his life and safety. I don't know what he would do.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably would just like sit in his room and buy video games all day. But like, there's a lot of, we've talked about this in the show before. There's a lot of people out there, even pro athletes in their mid to late 20s that are out there blowing money and, running into clubs and getting in trouble and driving fast cars and just not handling that well.
Yeah. Greg said, I would say year by year as far as the contract.
Okay. That was fair. Which is kind of how the transfer portal works, right? Like they can just, every year they have the ability to like enter into that portal. So
yeah.
Sounds like he agrees with that.
Yeah. So before we get into the next hot topic, Craig, what do you have going on since we last seen you on the show?
Well, since you guys last saw me, I just inked the deal with the public library. So
congratulations.
The classes would thank you.
Hold on. Let's get that DJ Clue bomb popping.
So the classes will be at the public library for Black History Month. It'll be at the Kent campus and it'll be at the Washington campus. And the other piece to that is we just inked the deal to be able to work with the Ronald McDonald House. So working with cancer patients and heart patients and designing shoes for them. So it's all coming together.
I love that.
Man, you better do that. That's what's up. Shout out to you, man.
I love the Ronald McDonald House. I love the public libraries. Two amazing organizations.
Yes. And I saw on IG, you've been kind of like getting into more schools and stuff now too.
I have. So more speaking engagements and just kind of speaking to the kids and letting them know the secret to life.
Yeah.
Kind of what we didn't know.
You said the secret to life.
The secret to life.
Ready.
The secret to life, to like manifesting your dreams. Like the secret to manifesting your dreams. And just hearing them out and understanding the hows and the whys of them.
I'm very excited that I'm going to make him come and talk to my kids too. So
yes, absolutely.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
And it's so dope to see you, take your dream and really make it happen. You know what I'm saying? And getting kids out here to believe in themselves too. So that's dope. They out here creating shoes and stuff, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
That's dope. That's
God is
fire.
great.
Yes, God is good all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Praise him. Black Jesus specifically.
Jesus Devontae Christ.
Jesus Devontae Christ specifically. Yes.
And because all little things little G's doing over here.
Yes,
Did I use it right?
Huh?
Did I use it?
Yes. Lil G came through.
Lil G came through.
Lil G be coming through for the homies, man. We appreciate them. Yes. All right. You got some more hot topics for us?
Oh, I thought we were gonna do some of the ones on here.
Oh yeah, we can. So one of the hot topics, they wanted to talk about Diddy. So we wanted to. He said, "What's up with Diddy?"
Everybody wants to talk. What is that? A hot that we know what's up with Diddy? He needed to get it together.
This is all I'm gonna say. The whole thing with Cassie, the fact that he settled out of court within 24 hours said a lot. That's all I'm gonna say.
And I think it put a lot of the ability for everything that's coming out now to come out now.
Yes,
He opened the door first.
Yep.
he absolutely did.
His behavior opened that door, and
yes.
now she just made it welcome, you know.
Yes. And I mean, for you to pay somebody within 24 hours, that means you did that shit. Because I mean, for everything what is said in that lawsuit, and you pay her and you settle out of court, yeah. But now it's interesting to see that the people that were around him are like, shit, well, we might as well just go ahead and put it out there. So now everybody's kind of coming out and saying, like, he's kind of been on some weird stuff from the jump. And some of them have seen things directly and some of them haven't seen things directly, but they're like, hey, it just gave me some weird vibes. So I know that Danny Kane has said some stuff. I know Young Jock has been saying
his former bodyguard has let it all go.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I went down a whole rabbit hole for like 2 hours the other day watching interviews, and
I did too.
Yeah,
you can't there was always, I thought, just because I mean, I was back in the Puff days, I thought there was always something just off, just about him, even going back to with the whole like Biggie Tupac situation, and then just the J-Lo situation, something was just always off about it. And now that I'm like watching all these people come out and tell stories, it's kind of starting to make sense. I don't know. It just,
yeah. It's been interesting to watch like these old videos that have been resurfacing. And if you watch people's body language, like in some of the videos, like they just look so awkward and just like uncomfortable. And it's funny because then like we didn't know what was going on, but now like we've kind of, with the Me Too movement, the Speak Out movement, like we are become more aware of body language when people are uncomfortable. And it's like he might have done that shit.
And he had a lot of power over a lot of people, and like the position that he carried, and just even like thinking about like Danny Kane, that came out of his show, The Making the Band, and that wasn't the only one. There was like a boy band that came out of that.
Yes, Day 25.
Day 25, yeah.
Oh, Day 26.
Day 26. Hey,
Give him that day.
I was short today. I'm sorry.
So was I when I talked about Kwanzaa. Okay, give me a little.
It might have been a leap year.
It might have been. But when you think about that, like I actually kind of like get sick to my stomach thinking about the amount of power he had over those groups, just making the band. Those people wanted to be rich and famous and sing and make music, and now I'm like, man, what was the deal? What did they have to do to get to the spot that they were in?
Yeah, and I mean, but it even got to the point to where Diddy was threatening people. Like he threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car because he was dating Cassie,
and then it blew up.
And then it actually blew up. So,
and then there's even speculation around just with the Kim Porter's death and how she was about to come out with a book, tell all, and there's just a lot behind it that just really something's not right.
Yeah,
lots not right.
Yeah, Lexi said Diddy did it, and 50 Cent is on the way because 50 Cent is top tier petty. So yeah, we all know that. We all know 50 Cent is very, very petty. So yeah, wow, yeah, Diddy, whatever you're doing, just chill.
I think he's past chill. Like he's about to be in trouble. Like a lot.
Yeah, a lot of companies have like pulled back.
He stepped down from Revolt too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he stepped down from Revolt, his own company.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
When I saw that, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yes. Yep. He stepped down.
Step down from your own company. You have.
Yeah. And they even put out a statement saying like, their views are really not lining up together. So they're just moving forward with, they're still going to give the same content, still going to do the same thing. They're just not going to have Diddy in place anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was major.
That was.
Yeah. So I don't know, man.
So that's what's up with Diddy.
Yes. And then they also, Frank also said, what's up with Jeep? I'm just glad Jeep is back to work. Are they back to work yet? No.
Something happened. What did I say? Oh, I know what's up with Jeep. I know what he's talking about. So basically, after they settled, they did settle and they did get back to work. And now they just saw, and I can't tell you the amount, but they are about to lay off a whole bunch of workers from the Toledo Jeep plant.
Wow.
So now that they settled, they got the new contract that were like on strike. Now they just came out and it's going to be in the Toledo plant. So
wow.
I think it's called like Toledo Assembly. That section is going to lose a lot of their employees.
Yes.
Do you feel like that was retaliation?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's specifically retaliation to the Toledo Jeep plant. I just think that I kind of actually feel like it was coming because it just some of the shady things they were doing behind the scenes with negotiations.
Yeah.
It almost seemed like they were trying to retaliate in various different ways. But they had always kind of said that like there's going to have to be some layoffs, and I think it was a large amount. It was in the thousands.
Wow.
So yes, especially like this time of year.
Yeah.
I know the plants usually do shut down like after the new year, but that's like, it sounded like it was more than just the shutdown.
This is a layoff.
What I heard happened was there was like a plant or whatever company in California sells Jeeps they shut down. So that kind of closed the market to where the Jeeps were being sold. So now there's no need for them to make that certain Jeep.
Wow.
Which is very surprising because I feel like there's a big market for Jeeps in California.
Yeah.
So maybe it was retaliation. I don't know. I mean, it's business. I don't run a business, but I mean, yes, when you do have to give more resources as the workers deserve, that money does have to come from somewhere. And unfortunately, people have to be impacted by that. But that's kind of the way business has to work. And
absolutely. But to do it during the holiday season is not okay.
And I don't know when. I only heard just a little bit on the news, and I didn't read when or how many, but it was a lot.
Wow.
It was a significant one.
Well, we still support all union workers and Jeep workers, so we're gonna hold y'all down. So all right, Miss Amy, what you got for us?
All right, let me see what else I got going on here.
Yeah, she got us all our topics.
Let's see, we got that one. We did that one. Oh, I think this is the last one.
Okay.
All right, that I have, unless they have some more.
Okay.
I think somebody said another one up there too. But now that weed is legal in Ohio, so it is legal as I think yesterday. Like yesterday, it finally was like actual legal. Should businesses be required to lift any requirements for drug testing for marijuana now that it's legal? And if not, should these businesses be required to put just as much emphasis on testing for other legal substances like alcohol? And let me be very clear, I'm not talking about public safety jobs where being intoxicated or high would put people at risk. So I'm like talking about you're going to work at a local grocery store and they're asking to drug test for, marijuana. Should they be, required to lift that because it's legal? Or should they be, required to, if they are going to continue to test for marijuana, should they add the other legal substances in there?
So what I do know is most companies reserve the right to test you regardless.
Right.
It's their company, their rules. If they say they don't want you smoking weed at all while you work there, then you just have to abide by it.
Yeah.
I do feel like now that it's legal, you can't really tell people what to do in their own personal time. So I think it should be some leniency. Like you can't come to work with a certain amount of THC in your system.
I like that. Yeah. And also the thing about that is like, if you're testing for alcohol stays nearby 24, now that I'm at the age I am, maybe 48 hours later, it just depends. But, when it comes to weed, I mean, it's in your system for, 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
And, maybe even adding to that standard, the amount of time, the time in between when you test the first time and test again. Because if you test somebody and you test positive and then you're like, okay, we're going to test you in a week, it's not going to work.
Right. Yeah.
Well, with the alcohol, it's 1 shot per hour. So if you're consuming more than 1 shot per hour, then yes, the alcohol will be in your system longer. But if you stick to that ratio, like say I have a drink at 8 o'clock, by midnight, it should be completely out of my system.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do agree kind of what Shay was saying, there should be a certain amount, but also at the same time, you as a person who is applying to that job, you need to ask the question of like, what are your, standards or requirements? Because if that job says they don't want you smoking or getting high, period, then if that's the job that you want, then you just need to be responsible and don't do it at all.
Right.
Because that's up to that business. If they don't want you smoking, then that's their business. And if you don't like it, go and apply somewhere else. So,
and always use good judgment.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But I do like the idea of relaxing the standards because I do think that you have to be a little bit more understanding that things like that could happen outside of work. And that's the difference between alcohol, I think, and marijuana is that one stays in your system way longer. So, I might have went out on not saying I'm doing this, but on a, Monday, 2 weeks ago and at 6 o'clock when I wasn't at work and smoked. And then I get drug tested 3 weeks later, haven't done it since, but now I'm going to test positive.
Yeah.
I wasn't high at work, wasn't high anywhere near work. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's fair.
I mean, everybody just has their standards, Some people, if you're going to be a Walmart greeter, some people don't want you smelling like weed. Why do you greet me at Walmart? You know what I'm saying? So I think it just depends on the business.
But
so
I think the problem's going to come because now it's legal. Alcohol is legal.
Everybody's going to use that
where,
excuse.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. That's where it's good. And it's hard. I mean, it would be harder to test obviously for alcohol than weed, but I definitely that's the argument people have.
Yeah.
It's just as, legal as alcohol impacts people very similarly.
And did you guys see the new testing system that the police now have to where if they have you blow and stick that into the machine and it turns blue and that means you're positive for THC?
Really? Sticking in
Yes.
What do you
Wait,
So it's kind of like
okay, all I know
so they have you blow on something and then like they stick it into the machine and that machine will tell them if you're under the influence of THC or not.
like a blowing pregnancy test, like you.
No, I'd say like a breathalyzer.
Like
for THC.
For THC,
A blowing pregnancy test is crazy.
No, I just
We're not talking about that one, but
in my head I was like,
you
thinking of,
normally
the
pee on
stick.
I was like,
yeah.
that's new.
Well, she said like you said like you blow on it and you stick it in there. I'm like thinking it's like a pregnancy test
No.
stick.
Oh,
It's actual like a breathalyzer that would. Okay, never mind.
we got
They
you.
say with like the stick, is it like a certain level that you can be at?
I think that's what the machine tests for. Like
Yeah.
if it turns, I believe they said if it turns blue, then that's positive, and then it'll let them know like the level of THC you have or alcohol.
Not that I encourage anybody to ever drive high or buzzed because that's dangerous. But is there a threshold? Like I know right now the legal limit is what 0.08 for, or is it 0.1, 0.08, right?
Yeah, for alcohol.
For
For
alcohol.
alcohol, yeah.
What's the like marijuana threshold?
Well, I
for
don't
driving?
think. Well, they haven't gotten that far yet, so I don't think they worked through all of that yet. I think it's
Yeah.
just legalized, but then now they're going to create the amendments that kind of go with it.
But it makes me wonder, like in other states, like Michigan, it's been legal
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
while, Colorado, California. Like I wonder what the threshold
Yeah.
is.
Because alcohol leaves your system way quicker. How do you know when marijuana is out your system?
So, yeah,
Right.
You can smoke right now and then get up at 2 a.m. to go drive, and
Mhm.
yeah.
it's you may still be high.
Yeah.
It depends on the level of the THC as
Or
well.
how you're taking it, like edibles versus smoking versus
Yeah.
vaping.
So and then depending on how much you took, it's like, am I not supposed to drive for 4 days? You know what I'm saying? Like
or a whole month.
a whole month. Like
However long it's in my system.
I have somewhere to go. So,
Right.
and then like she said, like, how do you know when it's out of your system? Because there are some people who get super high and then you go to sleep and wake up, you eat, and then you feel good, but then it's still in your system.
Still in your system.
But to me or whoever may not feel high. You know what I'm saying? But my body says clearly, I guess I'm still high.
Which I think people could have the same argument for alcohol. Like I think some people are like, I can drink and not feel drunk, and and
Yeah.
a couple hours later I go to sleep, but that still can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Should we do the second one related to the weed
Sure.
legalization question? Okay, so
Yes.
this is kind of in the same boat here. Let me go with that one.
Clearly, we have more questions than answers.
I
Yeah,
think.
I know. So currently, people who have felony drug convictions cannot receive federal student aid to attend college. So if you are ever filling out like a FAFSA form, it will ask you, have you ever had a felony drug conviction? And if you do, you cannot get any student aid to go to college. So now that weed is becoming decriminalized and legal in many states, should the student loan law, which is a federal policy, be revisited and people be allowed to get student loans if their felony drug charges only involved a weed charge, but like a felony weed charge? Like I'm trafficking, maybe I got caught trafficking. I didn't, but I'll put that out there. I don't traffic weed.
I would say if you were consuming it, then yes. If you were selling it, then no. But we have to realize when it comes to federal laws, that's very different from state.
But I feel like the
Yeah.
federal decriminalized weed way before some of the states were. Like it was like I think California and Colorado, they decriminalized it, but they can't because it's a state to state law.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's a federal law for the drug charges. But can you get a felony charge for weed consumption? Or is it only just selling? You
I
can't.
think it's just
don't know.
selling.
Just for selling it.
Yeah.
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 So like, yeah, it would all be
Yeah.
a
It
felony
would be a
charge.
misdemeanor. You like carrying it, but selling it, you get a felony.
Okay.
Yeah. How you know?
I just know.
I feel like he's a smart man. He's a business owner, educated. He's a college person.
I am.
You probably learned that when you filled out your FAFSA.
I did.
See? Why's your face all red? So what do we think? Do we think that we should lift it and allow people to get student loans now that it's out there?
I
or-
feel like if you were convicted by the government for selling weed, that means you was doing some big time stuff. And no, we can't rock with that.
But I've served my time and I'm out of jail, and does that mean I have zero ability to improve
And
the rest of my
now
life?
it's legal. They're going to be selling it. So why?
Yeah.
should I
But who's
sell
to
my
say that you won't get your FAFSA check and re-up?
You know what?
You could do that.
Yeah.
There's a
just
lot of
saying.
people that get their FAFSA check and re-up on a whole lot of non-educational expenses.
Yeah, but they're not out here selling weed and getting them.
So there's no reason that people need to sell weed when it's
Allegedly.
legal. That's what the weed shops are for.
Well,
there's a
not
lot of
if
people that
it's
are-
illegal in your state.
There's about to be a lot of people
Because we
unemployed.
were definitely going to Michigan.
Well, right.
I'm just saying, and getting
Who's
it.
we?
Okay. Don't try.
And I will.
We,
say-
as in the citizens of Ohio.
The Ohio citizens that were using that as a.
Yes, whatever they do in
Method
their
to be-
spare time,
Mhm.
feel me? But I mean, yeah,
So you think that they shouldn't have the ability to change their life
I
and
think if you
improve?
served your time, I think if you served your time for it, I think that you now have the option to be able to better your life if you want to go to school.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
people change.
yeah,
Yeah.
and people do
Yeah.
change, but maybe you can get like a certain amount, and then if you do good in school and you stay good and clean and out of trouble, then we can keep this.
I guess I never really even understood the law to begin with,
Yeah.
to be honest. And I don't, at most it's like maybe a Nancy Reagan, like,
Yeah.
what was her like drug free?
Victory over violence.
Don't get me
No,
started.
that was the she had
Was
a
it
drug.
Dare?
Yeah, no, it was before Dare. This is how. Yes, Greg, I'm aging myself now. She was like she was the first one that the Say No to Drugs
Yeah, Say No to
campaign, and then it
Drugs.
created like the Dare campaign, which is actually proved not effective. It just taught kids how to do drugs and like truly like the research
Shout
out
out to
there.
the war on drugs.
Right, the war on drugs. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Thank you. You knew that.
Yes.
You knew Nancy Reagan's policy.
Well, because I'm not a big fan of the Reagans, obviously, because the war on drugs was just to go and infiltrate the Black communities.
Well, right, and honestly, if you go
and
even
target
farther,
Black communities.
Absolutely.
to be honest, if you go even farther, the whole reason why weed was legal to begin with was to target people who were not in the majority because they couldn't tax it. We
Exactly.
did a whole report on it.
And then they started going to the hood and started criminalizing people for selling weed. And now look at it. Now the government is getting taxed.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. So now is that happening? And is that the reason why we had is that maybe making people that are in these communities unable to attend college? And is it pushing them out of that ability to get higher education?
Yeah.
Because that's the targeting people, like you said, who were
and
we're going into communities or arresting people. We're giving them drug charges. And now we're saying you can't go to college once you serve your time.
Yeah. And I also get what you're saying too, because at the same time with that, it's like maybe if you do go and better yourself, maybe you won't have to partake in those things. You know what I'm saying? So
right. I mean, if you
get it.
teach people to do better and they start to see that they can have a life outside of that.
Mhm.
And quite honestly, like I said, there's about to be a lot of unemployed drug dealers in Ohio.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, because
And you see, I have been saying that all of these Rite Aids that are shutting down, they're definitely about to turn into dispensaries.
oh, for sure.
They're definitely about to.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Or all the ones and the smart ones with because weed's been legal medically in Ohio for a while. Like that's been
Yes.
there. And then you have your CBD dispensaries those are the brilliant businesses. I should have invested in one of those. Now they can just flip it.
Yeah.
They can literally just clear the shelf and put the weed on there.
Yeah. I don't know, man. So, well, shout out to all the people who want to go and get higher education
Yeah.
and better themselves.
And I really hope
so-
they reconsider that policy for a lot of reasons, in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, that was the last one.
So last one I have. Is there any more that we had in our comment section?
Let's see. Let's check out some comments. No, I'm just trying to see. Well, no, Lexi was the last one who said 50 Cent was just top tier.
And did we scroll through? Because I swear I saw another one that was like something about Michael Jackson. Maybe I read
Oh,
it.
they were just commenting about the music. They just said Michael Jackson In the Closet was a sexual song, but most people probably didn't know by the way he presented it.
That's good because I was like, what possible Michael Jackson hot topic could we be talking about today?
Yeah.
So
And then HD the Garage said with Prince, everything was sex.
you got any hot topics you want to talk about? Anything pressing?
Nothing pressing.
Oh, look at that. We did good, y'all.
Hey, Renee, you got any other ones?
What? Yeah. So
Very confused. All I heard was little Kim and penis. Is
I
that-
don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, they were commenting. Oh, he was reading the comments from the live about the
okay.
music. So yeah, Red, don't just be out there just randomly shouting out penis.
I know. I was like, what is happening?
All right. Well, since it is the first Friday of the month, y'all know it's time for shout outs. And this is where we take the time to shout out anybody you want to shout out that's doing some dope stuff, man. So y'all got any shout outs y'all want to do?
I do. I have to shout out my oldest son because I am very proud of him. I went to Cincinnati last weekend and he made the decision all on his own in college to find a religion that he felt good with and just got baptized in his Greek Orthodox church.
Wow.
Which was super cool. It's normally a baby baptism. So to watch him do a baptism as a grown up, not gonna lie, that's not my religion. I had no idea what was happening in the whole service. But he walked out, in the robe, and I was like, how in the world are they gonna get him in that little bowl? Which they didn't. They just poured it over his head. But when it came up, they usually like wrap you in a cloth of like white, and they just put a white towel over his head.
Yeah.
So I was trying really hard not to laugh in like not a bad way, but like just this is very different. And I asked his godmom, I was like, is this the oldest child you've ever baptized? And she was like, yeah. I was like, you weren't ready for the hairy legs rubbing the oil all over that. She's like, no, they're usually babies. It was a little odd, but I'm very proud of him because I think it takes a lot as a human to grow up and say, this is the path I want to go on. And, it's not the path that he was raised with or that I even know, but I am very proud of him. So
that's what's up.
Shout out to Brett.
Shout out to your son, man. That's what's up. Thank you, Rare. We appreciate that. Shay Renee, you got any shout outs you want to do?
I just want to say shout out to all the kids at college doing their thing,
Yes.
getting a higher education. Shout out to y'all. And shout out to anybody who wakes up to make a difference in the life of somebody else.
Absolutely.
Shout out to y'all.
Absolutely. I want to shout out my mom and my cousin. They started a transportation service business. So it's called ENT Transportation. And so it's a low cost transportation service where they transport you to back and forth to where you got to go. It's $10 each way, and they come pick you up and they drop you off and they do what they do. So shout out to ENT Transportation.
So like
Service.
if I'm out and about and then at night and need a ride home, they got me.
They are open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Oh,
So yeah. It's
I got to run with some COVID hours on that one.
yes.
If I need picked up, but yeah.
Well, because I'm not about to have my 57-year-old mother
Absolutely.
outside transporting people after 8 o'clock.
I love that.
So yeah. So shout out to my mom and my cousin for starting that
And
service.
it's so well needed.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna need to get that number because I do actually have families that could really.
Yes.
benefit from
Well,
that.
I love.
kids that can benefit from that. I'm
Well, yeah. And I love my mama, but she gonna pay for the sponsorship package too. So we not just gonna put that out there.
She take you to school too.
As long as it's from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Oh, yeah. No, that'd be late at that point.
Transport.
Well, that'd be all right. All right. Craig, you got any shout outs?
Yeah. Shout out to my mom. She has a nonprofit. It's called I'm a Star, and they had their Jacksonville Helps movement, and she raised $62,000 for homeless students in Duval County.
Wow.
That's amazing. I need another one of those.
Yeah. Hit that bomb real quick. Let it play. Let it play. Yeah. That's dope.
That's a $62,000 bomb right
Yes,
there.
right there. I had
That
to,
is
had to
great.
let that ride.
So what does her organization do? What are they?
So her organization is the I'm a Star Foundation, and they build up leaders and students. So students from 6th grade to 12th grade, they go to I'm a Star, and then they put on these different initiatives. So the Jacksonville Helps initiative is for homeless students in Duval County Public Schools. And over the past 3 years, she's probably raised with the kids, and they do the whole thing and set the whole thing up, over $150,000 for
Wow.
homeless
That's great.
students in Duval County Public Schools, amongst other initiatives as well.
That's lit.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Mama.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
Mama.
Shout out to Mama Bernie.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what's up. Yes. And speaking of kids, I want to shout out my students. I'm not gonna say the school name because we don't do that on here. But my students took their progress test this week or whatever, middle of the year thing or whatever. And some of my kids went on some of their standards. They went from being below grade level to approaching grade level, or they went from approaching grade level to grade level.
I was so happy when I saw that today. Good for them.
Yes.
Where's our do we have applause one over there?
Yes. We thank you, education. We shout that out.
Yeah, he's like, I got to figure out which one.
So yeah, shout out to my kids for being super dope and working really hard. And we know we still got a long way to go, but just to see that growth in the middle of the school year, I was like,
That's
man,
great growth in the
my
middle school
babies
year.
are out here learning, y'all.
Hey, and guess what? Shout out to you because you're out here teaching. Yeah.
Shout me out. I want,
He said, shout me out.
I want to go hype myself up, but I'm gonna hype myself up. So you feel me. So yeah. So
it's okay,
I went
Reg.
to his class today, and they're super engaged. All of the students were engaged. You could hear a pin drop, and they were working. So
How could you not? How could you not
Yeah.
be engaged?
because I don't play no games.
He's got that journalism voice. He's got the.
No, I don't be using the journalism voice when I'm at work. No,
You use the teacher voice.
I use
I
Joe,
know.
Joe Clark. That's what I use.
I'm sorry,
if you,
what?
If you ever seen Lean on Me, Joe
Yes.
Clark.
Oh, yes,
that's
yes,
me.
yes. Okay.
Yes, that is me.
Is that actually him? Just out there doing the lean on me thing and Joe Clark voice and
That's him.
Yeah.
raising test scores.
Well, Craig came to my class today and they was trying to be like, Mr. Craig. And I was like, hey, sit down. And they was like, but it's Mr. Craig. I said, we don't care about Mr. Craig until 12 o'clock when we go to lunch.
That's what you get.
That's a fact.
Yeah. And they was like, that's rude. I was like, you'll be all right. Spell it. So yeah, there we go.
When you come talk to my students, I'll let them all come say hi to you before noon.
Yeah. So, and I keep telling Craig, you keep coming back. You might as well just come back to work.
He's like, I don't know.
Maybe.
It's like when you do that, it's like being a grandparent, right? Like you have to go in, you get your hugs, you give them high fives and stickers, and then you get to be like, bye, have fun with Mr. Cleveland, and then you peace out.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's always there.
Well,
you might as well just come back.
Gotta come do my check-ins.
Yeah, he's the best at
Make sure
it.
my people are good.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, anybody else with any more shout outs?
No. Shout out to Friday, man.
Man,
It's
yes.
been a week.
It has been a week, yo.
Mhm.
And we have made it. So shout out to everybody who made it to another TGIF Friday.
Yes.
Yes. And yeah, man. Shout out to Craig for coming to the show today. We
How'd it go?
It went great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
absolutely.
appreciate this. It was cool.
Yes, that was his trial run. We have to.
I'll have to watch it back and see what
Yeah.
we'll grade you.
We're gonna-
We'll see what grade. We'll see if you've made growth and progress in your test scores.
Yes, yeah, we will. I'm gonna be like my old job. Every time I would take something to them, like an idea, they'll be like, "We'll take that feedback back to the team." So
Yes, I think that's what we're
that's-
gonna do.
that's
Did
and I'm
you
like,
used to say that too?
I did used to say that.
All
that's
right.
such a professional way of just being like, "Yeah, no, we not."
Or it's a very professional way of saying like, don't talk to me about it right now.
Yes, like I
Leave
hear
me
you,
alone.
but yeah, we're not gonna do that. So
We gonna talk about you after you leave.
Hilarious. I'm not gonna do
For
that.
keeping it G with me.
yes, we appreciate.
We'll
that.
just talk about you right in front of you.
Or that too.
Well, there's that.
The way I feel.
So yes, so
We gotta
on,
have a meeting to discuss.
yeah, we gotta do a group FaceTime and,
Yeah.
and figure it out. So, all right, well, that was the show. We appreciate everybody for tuning in and watching. What?
I was thinking about when we were FaceTime last night and you asked if I was in a hairdryer.
Oh,
Like,
my god. So we were FaceTiming and she like had her phone propped up. You know, like the hair dryer, it has like the plastic thing. And I was like, "Do you have me propped up in the hair dryer?" And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Look." And she's like, "No, I have you propped up on my entertainment center, but it does like."
in
a hair
fairness, I was actually crawled I was like antsy, so I was kind of crawled halfway in the
Yeah, she was like
entertainment
inside.
center. So
the
it was like
entertainment
resting
center.
on the inside of the entertainment center. I was like halfway in it with the glass over my head.
And I was like, "Do you have me in a hair dryer?" Like I'm
I was
so
so
confused. Yeah, our FaceTime was very confusing.
It was very
so I
confusing.
don't know. But on our next episode, we have it's our Christmas episode.
Yes.
We are celebrating the holidays. And we have a very special guest that's going to be on the show. We're not
I'm not gonna tell you,
that.
but
No,
I'm excited.
we're gonna surprise y'all because we have a very special guest, and we're gonna celebrate all things the holidays, not just Christmas, but Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and all that good
I'm
stuff.
gonna show you all how to make greens.
Yeah, yeah.
Why'd you sigh like that
Yeah, because I'm just so interested.
on making greens? I
Yeah.
can cook. I mean,
Yeah.
it was good.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like actually good. It was better than a local restaurant that I had that I was like not a big fan
Oh
of.
Lord, yeah.
I seasoned it better.
Oh,
Just saying.
okay, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna do our Christmas episode, and then after that, y'all, it's a very big show.
Yes.
Yes, it's our 3-year
I
anniversary.
know.
That's coming up in January. I believe that show is January 12th. And we're going to do some amazing things and have some guests come back. Maybe introduce Craig as the 4th co-host. You know,
Look at that.
I keep telling he wants to be Angela Yee so bad, man.
What'd you say? We'll take the feedback back to the team and discuss it.
Yeah. We'll be like, we don't know. It was kind of giving DJ Envy vibes. We don't know. We don't know.
What's wrong with DJ Envy? Oh, I know you don't. You're not a big. Envy
We don't want no
fan.
Ponzi schemes going
Oh,
on.
that's true. He was not a part of it. Somebody just did that around him.
Yeah, he was out here representing. Yeah, so I don't know.
We got to make money.
I guess. So yeah, we are celebrating 3 years of Mud Talk, which is a huge accomplishment. This was actually episode 36.
Mhm.
So we've done 36 consecutive episodes of the show. We have so much to be proud of, from being on the Apple charts, being on Sirius XM Radio and iHeartRadio. Man, it's just so crazy having merch and stuff now. New logo, new set, like just it's so much that we've done in 2023 alone. So
Yes.
I'm super excited to look back on the 3 years, and I have the video that Shay sent me. It was hilarious.
That's the one you showed me last night.
Yes, it's the one I
Yeah.
showed you last night. It was watching the growth from that. That was what were we doing?
That was us like pre.
Was that the week before the show or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just pre-testing out and
It was bad.
figuring out what we were gonna do.
It was
what we were
bad.
gonna say.
It
I
was
literally
bad.
said, "Were you in a basement?" And you're like, "Actually, we were in my
We
basement."
were in my basement, actually. We were in my basement, and I just remember when I watched the video, it was like, I'm Big T, and then she said Sharon, and I was like, and this is the mud. And I
The
was,
mud. I could not stop laughing when you said that. I have to do that today. This is the
Yes.
mud.
Yes, the original name of the show was The Mud. Yeah, before we added.
So why'd you change it?
Because did you hear it?
I mean, yeah, I laughed about it.
Exactly.
But
It was the rough draft.
It was
okay?
the rough
that was
draft.
the rough draft.
Yes,
That was-
it was definitely rough. So we were
The
like, yeah,
mud.
we need to change this to
I
Mud
totally
Talk.
forgot my line. I'm just
Yeah.
sitting there looking at you like, oh, you
I was
Yeah.
I was hilarious.
I even forgot.
We,
that my-
we will definitely have to play that.
Yeah.
It was good.
I had to remember my new name. I was like, oh damn, my new name is Big T. Like I completely forgot. So yeah, we're gonna play that on the show and do some really dope stuff and just really self-reflect, and we're gonna have a good time. We
Yes.
might have
And
to.
2024 is all about gains and growth.
It's absolutely
Games and growth. I
Yes.
like it.
So-
you got any comments over there? I feel like we-
No, we don't got no comments, man.
Okay.
No. So we thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure you listen to us wherever you stream your podcast. You can listen to us on Facebook or on YouTube, or also anywhere you stream your podcast, which is on Apple Mute or Apple Podcast. Thank you. iHeartRadio, Sirius XM Radio, Pandora Radio, and Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Again, want to say thank you to everybody who tapped in and tuned in.
We want them to follow us too.
Yes.
Follow us on Facebook.
Follow us on Facebook at Mud Talk Podcast, as well as YouTube Mud Talk Podcast, or the Instagram, which is
at Mud Talk 419. And then on there is a link tree to get sponsorship packages, merch, watch the show. Watch Girl Talk, which is
yes, brand new episodes coming tomorrow. Yes, so there's a brand new episode of Girl Talk going down tomorrow at 11 a.m. It's a special time, so you get to have brunch with the Survivors coach, Unique J, and she's going to have Jasmine Pope. She's going to be on the show. She is a licensed therapist. She's part of the ministry and very involved in the church, and she's also a huge advocate for mental health. So she's going to be on the show tomorrow morning. So make sure you tap in with them at 11 a.m. So
and shout out to all our sponsors.
Yes.
Podcast, Village Academy, Black Lido.
Yes. Shout out to Black Lido and Village Academy. And of course, we say shout out to Lexi. We thank you so much. We appreciate you. I'm sure she's going to be giving us some feedback as soon as we get done with the show,
which is great.
We always love it. So we appreciate you. So, all right. That's our show. I'm Big T.
I'm Shay Renee.
I'm Miss Amy. Wait.
I'm praying.
Thank you. And you have officially tapped in and tuned into the hottest podcast that brings you the latest in music, news, and fashion, and the only show that keeps your ears to the streets
While you grind and shine.
All right. We will see y'all next time, y'all.